Distinguished guests, esteemed partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my great pleasure to meet you here today. We greatly appreciate you taking precious time out of your busy schedule to attend today's forum. I am Seung-hyun from Ernst & Young, India, and it is an honor for me to serve as a host for such a significant event. The third Korea-India Future Economy and Industrial Forum is being held today to navigate the present and future of India's semiconductor industry and to explore opportunity for cooperation between our two nations. We are privileged to have with us here Dr. Choongjae Cho, the director at Korea Institute for International Economy and Policy, and His Excellency Mr. Saurabh Agarwal, partner at the Ernst & Young India, and Mr. Euy Dan Park, President of Federation of Korean Association in India, and Mr. Sungjoong Cho, Commercial Counselor of Trade, Industry, and Energy at the Embassy of the Republic of Korea, and other respected government officials and distinguished industry members. Without further delay, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Choongjae Cho, Director at Korea Institute for International Economic Policy, to deliver the opening remark.
안녕하십니까. Namaskar. Very good morning. Distinguished President of Federation of Korea Association in India, Euy Dan, Mr. Amitesh Kumar Sinha, Additional Secretary, Ministry of the Electronics and Information and Technology, and the CEO of India Semiconductor Mission, and Ms. Mona Khandar, Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat, Mr. Anku Jain, Managing Director, MediaTek India, and ex-chairperson of India Electronics and Semiconductor Associations, and Mr. Jo Sung-jung, Commercial Counselor, Embassy of Korea, and the esteemed co-host, Mr. Saurabh Agarwal, and Kunal Choudhary, partner of EY India, all distinguished speakers, guests, and participants. Very welcome and thank you all for joining today. Korea and India have shared a special strategic partnership for over 10 years. In today's fast-changing global environment, strong cooperation between our two countries, both in policy and industry, is more important than ever. Since the opening of the KIEP Delhi office in 2023, we have hosted regular forum to strengthen future-oriented economic and industrial cooperations between Korea and India. Today's forum focuses on critical industry, semiconductor. Semiconductors are often called the foundation of the digital age. They are no longer mere components. A single smartphone today contains more than 50 semiconductors. They make up about 40% of production cost. The higher performance device, the greater proportion of semiconductors. The semiconductors are not only the backbone of the future industries, they are also key strategic asset for national and economic security. That is why I believe the semiconductor sector can become a new strategic pillar of the cooperations between Korea and India. Currently, however, cooperations in this field between both is still an early stage. I sincerely hope today's forum will be open new conversations and lead to practical partnership between our two countries. Once again, I warmly welcome all of you, government officials, business leaders, and researchers, etc., from the Korea and India and also Japan. Thank you all for strong support and participation. I especially thank you to the EY India for co-hosting for forum with us. Thank you so much. Dhanyabad.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. Saurabh Agarwal, partner at Ernst & Young India, to deliver his opening remark.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests from the Indian government, members from the Korean, Japanese embassies, chapters, and all delegates who are today attending this session. Thank you all for joining this session. It's a privilege to address all of you today at this crucial time for global manufacturing and partnerships when the world is going through geopolitical tensions, global trade wars, and India is becoming more and more a partner for manufacturing for the world. I want to share with you why India stands as an unparalleled destination for your semiconductor ventures. If I have to say, first, when we look at India's economic surge and a stable environment, India has proudly risen to become the fourth largest economy in the world. This remarkable growth is not by chance. It's built on the foundation of predictable government policies and a relentless focus on boosting manufacturing in cutting-edge sectors like electronics, electric vehicles, renewable energy, and of course, semiconductors, which form an essential part of many of these sunrise sectors. Why India is your ideal manufacturing hub? Today, India offers an incredible combination of advantages, ranging from a vast consumer base, which has been there for long, but is increasing multifold. A skilled workforce, a demographic dividend which our country offers in the form of a skilled workforce, is something which is really not available anywhere in the world in the form of a young, talented, and adaptable workforce. Abundant land. We offer ample space for setting up large-scale manufacturing. In the semiconductor space, you would have seen in Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh, or when you talk about Gujarat, or you talk about Assam, or you talk about Maharashtra, many of these states have been offering lands at various concessional rates to the investors in the semiconductor space to improve the ecosystem for semiconductor industry in India. Significant incentives. Our government has taken up multiple programs in the semiconductor space when you talk about either the central government or the state government. Together, both central and state government offer an incentive of 75% to 90% of the investment which you are making into the country in a pari passu manner. Very important, in a pari passu manner, so that your capital is not getting blocked. In an era which is marked by global trade tensions and supply chain disruptions, we are seeing how rare earth magnets are creating a big issue for the Indian automobile industry. India's clear goal is to empower foreign companies to not just make in India for the Indians, but make in India for the world. We have moved quite far from made in India to make in India and thereafter make for the world. Unprecedented semiconductor incentives is something which I have talked about. But the important element in this particular space which I wanted to highlight is the partnership with the Korean companies. I think it was the Korean companies like Samsung, LG who came into India at that point of time and started mobile manufacturing. They didn't just do the mobile manufacturing, but they also helped in developing the skills in the country. Semiconductor is one such sector where it's not mere the manufacturing which is required, but a development of skill. And I think when I look at the India-Korea partnership, it has been a strong bond which we have been sharing for almost more than 5 decades in the form of a comprehensive economic partnership agreement between India and Korea, the double tax avoidance treaty between India and Korea, and this particular relationship has been developed on mutual trust, goodwill, and shared interests. You have already seen success of various Korean companies who have set up their manufacturing in India. I think the Indian government has opened up all possible doors for these companies like Samsung, LG, Kia, Hyundai, and not just these companies who are having a 100% wholly owned subsidiary in India, but even for the joint ventures like Anand Mando. So there are a lot of joint ventures which have happened in India, and I think the joint venture partnerships is what the Indian government today is looking at, whether you do 100% wholly owned or you partner with an Indian entrepreneurs in order to ensure that you are able to run the companies more efficiently as far as the manufacturing space in India is concerned. The call for semiconductor collaboration. In today's economic climate, diversifying supply chain is paramount. That's why it's more important than ever for Korean companies to come forward and establish semiconductor facilities in India. Given the Indian government's proactive initiatives, the proven success of Korean ventures here, we are confident that our partnership in the semiconductor space will be equally, if not more, successful. We believe Korean companies will not just establish manufacturing in India, but will also play a crucial role in skilling Indian engineers. This will create a sustainable ecosystem, enable India to become a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing in the world. At the end, I would like to thank Korean Institute for Economic Policy, Delhi office, for co-hosting this seminar with us, and the various designatories from the Indian government for joining us today. Jai Bharat.
Namaskar. Good morning. 안녕하십니까. I came to India in year 2010, 10 years back. Since then, for last 16 years, I witnessed the growth story of India economy, of which volume growth, innovation and transformation of technology, and export portfolio change also. They are telling a lot of story and inspiring message also. And I am cheering and respecting the journey of India from the troubled hard time to shining moment, emerging as the fastest moving economy in the world. In this context, we gather here today at a pivotal moment in global technology. Now, semiconductors are not just a component of a device, but the backbone of modern economies and a strategic asset in geopolitics. For decades, the global semiconductor industry has been led by global giants, just like the US, with its dominance in design and R&D. Korea with its unmatched leaders in memory chip production. And Taiwan, the world's manufacturing powers, home to TSMC. These countries didn't just wake up as global leaders. They made a bold investment in infrastructure, research, talent, and global partnership. They aligned the national interests with the industrial strategy. And today they are enjoying the benefits. But now the world is changing. The pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in global supply chain. Geopolitical tension have brought strategic urgency to semiconductor self-reliance and the digital transformation from the AI and the 5G, electrical vehicles, and the smart manufacturing also. All they are accelerating the global demand of chips. This is India's opportunity. India stands at the threshold of becoming the meaningful player in semiconductor ecosystem, not merely as a market, but as a maker, as an innovator, and as a strategic partners in the global value chain. India already has some of the key ingredients. Vast talent pool of engineers and scientists, rapidly growing digital economy, and the government that recognize the strategic importance of semiconductor. And they are supporting with the PLI scheme and the infrastructure development. To turn this opportunity into enduring strength, we need clarity of vision and the speed of execution. I would like to talk on 3 points for India's semiconductor journey. First, I want to talk on the ecosystem, not just fabrication. Yes, fabrication is important, but semiconductors are not just only about manufacturing. They are about design, testing, packaging, IP, supply chain resilience, and software integration also. India already excels in chip design. Nearly every major semiconductor company has design and R&D presence in India. We must build on this strength while nurturing other parts of our value chain, especially advanced packaging and testing, where India can jump with the right investment. Secondly, I want to talk on the collaboration over competition. The semiconductor industry thrives on global cooperation. Taiwan, Korea, US, they don't just compete. They also rely on each other. India must position itself as a trusted and a strategic partner in the ecosystem. That means forging deep reliance with a like-minded nation, co-investing in research, and creating bilateral tech corridors. The global partners, including Korea, will consider that India is open for collaboration. Let's co-design, co-develop, and co-create the future of semiconductor together. I believe India is moving properly now for global collaboration in this regard. Tata Group is collaborating with the ADI US, TEL Japan, ASMTP Singapore, and the PSMC Taiwan for fabrication, sometimes for the OSAT facilities. HCL Group and the Foxconn and the Vedanta Group and the Japanese are another good model case of collaboration. I am also expecting some good news saying Korean and Indian place collaboration in semiconductor industry soon. Thirdly, I want to talk on the being patient with a purpose. Semiconductor is a very highly capital intensive, high risk, and a long gestation business. We won't see the result overnight, but that's no reason to delay or doubt. It will take time. But if we stay course, align private innovation with the public policy, and keep our eyes on global benchmarks, we will succeed. The policymakers need to continue to be bold. This is not about the short-term subsidy race. This is about the long-term national capability building work. In closing, let me say this. The world needs more trusted supply chains. The world needs more innovation center. The world needs more domestic, democratic tech ecosystem. And India has already potential to be all these three. Let us seize the moment, because next decade will not just be about who make the chips, but who play smartly, strategically, and intelligently. I'd like to see India emerging soon as a big sixth global semiconductor player in the world in coming decades, along with Korea, US, Taiwan, China, and Japan. To achieve this goal and vision, I'm expecting a lot of insightful talks through today this seminar. 단내와를 감사합니다. 좋은 시간 되시길 바랍니다.
Next, I invite His Excellency Commercial Councillor Mr. Sungjoong Cho on the stage for his congratulatory message.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, good morning. Namaste. My name is Sungjoong Cho, and I'm Councillor of Korean Embassy. It is a great pleasure representing Korean Embassy and Korean government to deliver congratulatory remarks at the third Korea-India Forum on Future Economy and Industry. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy, KIEP, and Ernst, in particular to one of my closest friends, Mr. Choongjae, Director of KIEP Delhi office, for jointly organizing this timely and meaningful event. Today's forum takes place at a critical juncture as India accelerates its ambition to become a global hub in semiconductors. Under the leadership of the Prime Minister Modi and through strategic initiatives such as India's Semiconductor mission and production-linked incentives (PLI) scheme, India is building the foundation for a competitive semiconductor industry. Korea is uniquely positioned to be a strategic partner in this endeavor. Our country is home not only to global giants like Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, but also to a dense and dynamic ecosystem of small and medium-sized enterprises specializing in semiconductor materials, components, and equipment. These companies are the unyielding heroes that power the global chip industry. A partnership between Korea and India that connects these capabilities with India's industrial policy vision will go a long way in realizing a company's complete and robust semiconductor value chain. In particular, I would like to highlight an area of high potential that is often overlooked: critical minerals, including rare earth elements, which are essential inputs for semiconductor manufacturing and other high-tech sectors. India holds vast reserves of such minerals, but has yet to fully tap their potential. Korea, on the other hand, has advanced processing capabilities and a mature industrial base. If our two countries work together to align strength, India's resource endowment and Korea's technological expertise, we can co-develop a resilient, diversified, and mutually beneficial supply chain, contributing not only to our bilateral growth, but also to global economic security. These principles are already being put into action. Korean companies are taking visible steps to support India's semiconductor goals. Simtech has launched a major facility in Sanand, Gujarat, to produce advanced PCB substrates critical for semiconductor packaging. APEC, another Korean firm, has partnered with ASIP in Hyderabad to establish a full-fledged OSAT, outsourced semiconductor assembly and test facility. These investments reflect more than commercial interests. They represent a long-term commitment to India's semiconductor ecosystem. To support these efforts on the ground, Korean Embassy had the opportunity earlier this year to visit Assam, where we could explore the Tata Group's semiconductor initiatives and participate in the Gujarat Semiconnect Conference 2024 in Gandhinagar, hosted by Gujarat State Electronics Mission. These engagements offered valuable insight into India's regional strategies and helped identify areas where Korean companies can offer both technological value and reliable partnership. This is precisely what this forum is meant to facilitate: a place where ideas become strategies and strategies become partnerships. I believe that today's discussions will generate new opportunity, new momentum for collaboration and innovation, helping our two beloved countries navigate the next chapter in global industry. Let me close by reaffirming Korea's strong will to work hand in hand with India to build a sustainable, resilient, and long-term industrial partnership based on mutual trust. I look forward to many new ideas, alliances, and solutions that will emerge from this forum. Thank you. Dhanyabad.
In today's first session, we will dive deep into the India semiconductor industry current status, future prospects, and policy directions. Following the presentation, we will hold a panel discussion to further explore key takeaways and strategic implications. We will then break for the coffee and tea for about 20 minutes before we move on to our second session, which will cover business incentive, regulation, and Korea-India cooperation potential collaboration in semiconductors. Our first speaker is Mr. Amitesh Kumar Sinha. He is the Additional Secretary of Ministry of Electronics and Informative Technology and CEO of the India Semiconductor Mission. Please welcome him with a round of applause.
A warm good morning to all esteemed dignitaries present here. On behalf of India Semiconductor Mission, I want to convey you the message of the country that how India is progressing in this particular sector, which is very, very strategically important to all of us. I will first start with the vision of Honorable Prime Minister. Our semiconductor policies has basically three visions. One, to become a reliable and trusted supply chain partner in the global supply chains. Whatever policies we are making is for long term. So you are seeing ISM 1.0 at this point of time. So policies continuity will be there. And then we want to see Indian chips in every devices of the world. All electronic devices must have a chip made by India. And if you see how we are trying to achieve this and what is our strength in order to achieve this. Recently, you have come across the news of India becoming the fourth largest economy. And it is also not very far that by 2027, 2028, will become the third largest economy. So this message is just saying that economy is growing rapidly, and India is one of the fastest G20 growing economies. So when there is a growth, there is a demand, and when there is a demand, then there is a need of technology or supply that is required to fulfill that thing. India has also emerged as the cheapest manufacturing hub. You might have come across the news articles also. One US report has come where it is clearly said that India has become the cheapest manufacturing hub, surpassing China, Vietnam, and other countries. So this is also an opportunity, and when I interacted personally with the initial semiconductor successful applicants, their message is also like this, that on the basis of their initial observations about India, they are saying that yes, the Indian packaging chips or Indian chips will be the cheapest in the world. This is initial remarks that is coming from them. We have a demographic dividend. Our average age in India is 28.8 years. So there is a clear path, runway for all of us to feed talent in the ecosystem. And we all know that how India good is about STEM population. 10 million STEM students are coming every year in main foray. So that is our strength. And then we have fixed a target of 500 billion of electronics manufacturing by 2030. So if you are targeting a 500 billion economy in electronics, then roughly by calculating 20% of that, more than 100 billion of semiconductors will be required. So there is a demand, and there is a growing electronic industry. We all know that in India, in last 10 years, electronics manufacturing has increased by manyfold. So 10 years ago, from 30 billion, now it has come to 138 billion last year. If you see the exports from 5.7 billion, last year it was 38.6 billion. So roughly production increased by 4.5 times, and exports increased by 6.5 times in last 10 years. If we see the mobile manufacturing in India, so it has increased 31 times in last 10 years, and exports have increased 92 times in last 10 years. So there is a rapid growth in this sector. Korean companies' presence in India, I will consider that as the beginning of electronics manufacturing in country. Samsung and LG, they are the foundation companies who are building this ecosystem. And Samsung and LG today is a house name in India. So whenever we go for any buying, we consider them as the first priority if it matches our expectation. I am seeing now a vast, different companies also coming to this thing, particularly from semiconductor industry. As my earlier speaker was saying about a pact. So a pact is actively engaged with one of our applicants. Simtech already mentioned, it is coming near in Sanand to support Micron packaging also, as well as other industry also. SK Hynix and Magnachip have shown their interest, so they are also seeing Indian market, R&D center, design center, software development centers they are trying to see, and then we will see that how they can support the semiconductor journey also. So I am seeing a very good amount of traction, and many other companies are now expected in building the ecosystem that is required for semiconductors. Indian government has launched various schemes from time to time. So we all know about the production link incentive scheme. So it was launched for mobile manufacturing, it was launched for IT hardware, it was a part of that was also dedicated to electronics component manufacturing, and recently a new scheme has come, particularly dedicated to the component manufacturing, which is required for the electronics devices. Parallelly, Semicon India program was announced by the government, which was around $10 billion US at that time. And out of that, 6 companies have been approved, one for semiconductor fab, which is being set by Tata Group, and then 5 OSATs, including some of them doing advanced packaging. These 6 companies are settling mostly in Gujarat. 3 packaging companies are in Sanand area, 1 fab is in Dholera area of Gujarat, 1 packaging unit is coming in Assam, and 1 in UP, Uttar Pradesh. And you will see that more approvals coming in next few months. So they will again be coming with a good amount of technology and experience. We have also, for the sake of continuity, ISM 1.0 is not the end, it is the beginning. And very soon we will close this program. And concurrently you will see that without any gap, continuity of the policy will be very, very easily visible to all of you. In that, we will expand the scope. And right now we are focusing on design, manufacturing, and packaging. So it will enlarge the scope, and we will try to accommodate ecosystem players like chemical and gases company, equipment manufacturing companies, material research companies. So we will try to see that how they can be facilitated in India in order to set up a complete ecosystem. Skilling is the main strength of India. As I mentioned, that 10 million STEM population every year is coming to the main field. And in that, in semiconductors also, we have taken various initiatives. So you know that we have an initiative with LAM research, where we are trying to train 60,000 engineers. And the LAM has offered a virtual semi-verse platform, which is now being extended to different institutes and colleges. So our target is to give this license to at least 60 colleges, so that the requirement of nanofab that is required for training of the students is largely met by this semi-verse solution. And then they can come and see the nano factory or labs also on basis of rotation. So this semi-verse is a good program which is being done by ISC Bangalore, LAM Research, and India Semiconductor Mission. We are funding that program. Apart from that, in 2022, when this program was announced in 2021, very quickly we set up a committee with industry players, semiconductor industry players, and with the help of them, we finalized a roadmap for curriculum, how to revise, how to make changes in our curriculum to suit the requirement of semiconductor industry. And taking clue from that, the body in India, which is called AICTE, which actually finalizes curriculum for the engineering colleges, they took clue from that, and very quickly they revised their curriculum, and it has been implemented in more than 800 colleges offering undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD degrees. And you will see that more and more will be coming. Apart from that, we have a MOU signed with SEMI and Purdue University also. So we are trying to offer their courses also through online or virtual mode to our different engineering colleges. That will also be finalized very soon. And then there is a Ministry of Electronics and IT in-house organization called NILIT. So NILIT has been given mandate to train semiconductors related students and engineers. So now what they are doing, they are opening up their facility near the approval places. Like in Assam, they are opening a facility just adjacent to Tata OSAT facility. In Dholera, in Gujarat, in other places also, they will open, and they will dedicatedly offer these courses, which will be part of the credit courses of engineering colleges offered at various places. So that kind of manpower training we are aiming from India side. I know which is its strength, and already more than 20% of the design engineers of the world are coming from India, we all know. So we want to further now train them not only for design, for manufacturing and packaging, for material sciences, for component manufacturing. So all verticals we'll try to cover. In ISM 2.0, which is a kind of a catalyst, will be a catalyst for semiconductor growth, which will offer some incentives. I want to highlight the efforts of state governments. So 8 state governments have announced a dedicated policy for semiconductor industry. And apart from government incentive, which is largely today is 50%, almost 20 to 30% additional incentive is offered by different state governments. So that is also a very good thing. So whenever a scheme is announced, it is not only announced by central government, the state governments are also topping up that scheme, so that a good amount of incentive is available to the companies who are eyeing India as a place for manufacturing. I think this policy continuity will be there. There is no doubt about that. And we want that Korean companies can start discussing, who are interested in setting up ecosystem in India. We will handhold them, we will facilitate them, and we will provide all possible support from our side, including regulatory problems if they will face. We will also solve those issues. The 6 applicants are doing very well, and they have hired Indian engineers which were not trained for manufacturing or packaging earlier, but now they are very, very happy. So when I discuss with them, so they send those engineers to their Malaysian facility or Singaporean facility or Taiwan or somewhere else, but after return, they are finding them very, very good resource in comparison of other places. So that is also a good news, that the initial applicants are saying 2 things. The cost of manufacturing in India will be the cheapest, and the talent available here are so good that they are beating their expectation and performing very well. So I request the August Forum present here today that Samsung and LG's and Korean companies' role in building electronics manufacturing is all visible and evident. Now this time has come for semiconductors also. And we request the players, as mentioned by the earlier speaker, that in memory, the Korean companies are very strong. So we request memory companies also to invest in India. Apart from in display also, the Korean companies are very strong, Samsung and LG. So display is also an area where we would like to have some manufacturing facility. Apart from that, equipment, R&D, and of course design, where we will all collaborate. So with this, I wish this forum a grand success, and hope that in future we will see more and more companies getting approval with the support of technology partners from Korea. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for your highly insightful information. And unfortunately, Mr. Amitesh will not be available to participate in the panel discussion. So before he leaves, we would like to take one question from the audience.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful view on how the government is welcoming the Korean investments in India. And I just wanted to understand what is your view on the raw material side, the availability of raw materials for all the semiconductor industries who are planning to come to India. What is your view that in terms of availability of raw material in India?
Basically, the ecosystem of semiconductor is a global supply chains. Even Taiwan will not have all kind of facility, but they're the leading player in semiconductor manufacturing. What we are emphasizing that we will promote, we will offer incentives to attract companies. And in ecosystem, if you'll see, there is a critical mass for each and every company. So some companies having chemical gases or materials, they will set up a facility for one fab or 2 or 3 packaging units. Few companies, their critical mass is 5 fab. Few companies are having critical mass of 2 fab. So now we are seeing on the basis of the 6 approved applicants, different companies are now coming and setting their facility. For raw material also, there is a critical mass required, and now the companies from Korea, the Japanese company, they are very interestingly, seriously looking Indian market. And you will see that the semiconductor related material, photoresist or wafer manufacturing or mask kind of manufacturing and all small things related with that will now start happening in India also. But truly it's a global supply chains, and no country will be able to produce 100% of the raw material or ecosystem that is required for this industry.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha. As the moderator in the first session, I prepared so many questions, but I think you are one of the busiest officials in India. So now at this moment, I try to keep 1 or 2 questions. You already explained that at this moment, India has a kind of the vision in the semiconductors as a kind of one of the global supply chain by manufacturing the chips, Indian chips. So generally, the making chip is very, very difficult. Yeah. So I think the India have a kind of the special strategy to making goal, making visions, because you know very well at this moment, Malaysia, even Vietnam also, they already started to making a kind of the semiconductor ecosystem. So what is the India's core strategy? And then also, what do you think about at this moment, China is already rising a kind of supplier of the legacy semiconductors. So when might India will be like the China as a kind of the supplier of the semiconductor, even the legacy semiconductor? What do you think about that?
Actually, this is a very good question. So if you see the yesterday news, it was there that India has exported more mobile phones to US in comparison of China. So now the journey has started. And China development has certainly a commendable thing. And they have developed legacy semiconductors and other things also way ahead from India. But now this is our time. And we are seeing that how electronics manufacturing is going very fast. So the next step in that direction to have increased value addition in that vertical, the semiconductors is very, very much required. Post-COVID, we realized this more, and not only India, all other countries also, they have realized that this is a strategic sector, because if chips are not there, you will not be able to produce any devices. And now we are seeing a lot of disruptions happening. As mentioned by my co-speaker, that because of a magnet, the automobile industry is suffering. So this kind of suffering should not be there in industry. And when like-minded countries like India, Korea, USA, Japan, all these countries can work together, at least we can secure our supply chain, and we can trust each other, and we can co-develop together to have this kind of problem, to avoid this kind of issues. And this vision is not only for that. I have also already mentioned that the manufacturing is cheapest, going to be cheapest in the country. And this message was delivered by a company who investigated 55 different places in the world in order to set up their a big fab facility. So they have not announced anything for India, but they said that after seeing 55 locations, we are confident that the chip manufacturing will be the cheapest in India. And at that time, they were indicating about Dholera as a manufacturing hub. So Dholera is now in making, and we envisage Dholera as a next Sinchu in next 10 to 20 years. We would like to see that place as a very, very developed semiconductor hub in the world. So this is our belief, and all policies and efforts are in that direction only. Thank you.
Next up, we have Ms. Mona Khandar, Principal Secretary of Department of Science and Technology and representative of the government of Gujarat.
Distinguished speakers and delegates, it's my pleasure to be here. Good morning to everyone. I have a brief presentation as well. First of all, I would like to begin with the clarion call and grand vision of Honorable Prime Minister. You all are aware that Honorable PM, who was Chief Minister of Gujarat for about 12 years, has given a clarion call of making India a developed country by 2047. It's not only a call, but there lies a grand vision, and that vision has been put into strategy, policy framework, and number of initiatives. The most important being that the entire development strategy of Bharat is now there is a visible shift. Earlier, it was mainly led by service sector, but now equally important are manufacturing industry and service sector. And for that, even for manufacturing and industry, it is high-end industry like semiconductor, high-end electronics. We have seen a 2 trillion program, product-linked incentive, and a huge capex-led program for semiconductor and high-end electronics. So with this, now I would like to come to Gujarat. When it comes to developed India, we call it developed India through developed Gujarat. And for that, we have put in place not only policy framework, but several other initiatives led by our Honorable Chief Minister. To begin with, I would like to just dwell upon what Gujarat is doing briefly, and then actually I would like to take you all through the story, the semiconductor story that is unfolding at present in Gujarat and in India. So very, very quickly, I would like to mention that first of all, Gujarat has a very sound macroeconomic parameters. In fact, Gujarat has one of the most sound macroeconomic framework. Our fiscal deficit is less than 2% of GSDP. Our debt to GSDP ratio is less than 15%. So we have the fiscal space to support this kind of initiative, to support the entire policy framework. Our state is a policy-driven state, and it is very, very transparent. Whatever we commit, we ensure that we, not only that we meet our commitment, but we meet them in time. So, Gujarat occupies 6% of geographical area, 5% of population. However, Gujarat is the manufacturing powerhouse. 20% of Gujarat's, India's manufacturing is in Gujarat. 33%, one-third, almost one-third exports of India is from Gujarat. We handle almost 40% of marine cargo of India. Not only that, but the industrial development is all around Gujarat. There are not islands of manufacturing, but it is everywhere in Gujarat. There are certain supporting areas where Gujarat is topping, like ease of doing business, export preparedness index, logistics performance index, peaceful labor and industry relation, good governance index, and also when it comes to law and order, and especially safety for women. In that also Gujarat stands first. So this is why we call Gujarat a manufacturing powerhouse of India. So far as semiconductor is concerned, there are upcoming hubs in Sanand and Dholera. Gujarat is also a petrochemical hub. Hajira, Baroda, and Jamnagar are the places. Pharmaceuticals also, Gujarat is one of the leading states. Renewable energy, Gujarat tops. We produce the highest solar and wind energy. Gems and jewelry, every 8 out of 10 diamond that is cut and polished is from Gujarat. Textile, Gujarat is again leading not only in man-made but also in natural fiber. So far as engineering is concerned, again Gujarat is leading. Rajkot is quite popular not only nationally but also internationally. So these are some of the clusters, some of the industrial clusters where the industry has made name not only nationally but globally. Now if we come to utilities and logistics, Gujarat is power surplus state. I think very few states where our discoms, the distribution companies, are in green. They are all profit making. Now, if we come to logistics, we have the longest coastline and there are about 40 minor and major ports. So far as connectivity is concerned, the first bullet train is coming between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. It will be commissioned very soon. So far as utility is concerned, Gujarat used to be a water deficit. Out of very gigantic programs and initiatives, now it has been converted into water surplus state. And we have committed a dedicated water supply both for Dholera as well as Sanand. So far as industrial infrastructure is concerned, Gujarat is dotted with more than 225 industrial estate, special investment region, and industrial townships. So I think I already discussed this. We have several airports, international airport. The latest one coming up is at Dholera. Now, as I mentioned, Gujarat is a policy-driven state, and we have entire policy framework put in place by state government. The important ones are biotechnology, ITITS, Global Capability Center. Gujarat was the first state to come out with semiconductor policy. We have electronics policy. The latest one is space tech policy. We have policy for green energy and several others. Now, very briefly, I would like to mention, you all are very well aware that Gujarat was the first state to come out with semiconductor policy. And we have taken care of both CapEx, OpEx, and also a lot of non-fiscal incentives. We have given commitment for power, water, and gas. So far as CapEx is concerned, we offer 40% of incentive given by or finalized by Government of India. In addition to that, there are several OpEx-related incentives. There are land subsidy also. The entire stamp duty is being reimbursed. So there are a number of such initiatives. We don't restrict ourselves only to policy framework, but we have a three-pronged strategy. One is policy framework, the second one is infrastructure, and third one is skilling and capability building. So this is how we are moving forward in almost every sector. So far as subsidy on power is concerned, we provide rupees 2 per unit of power subsidy, and also the entire electricity duty is also reimbursed. There is a single window facilitation platform. We have a dedicated mission called Gujarat State Electronics Mission, and we take care of every regulatory or certification related requirement. Every week we hold a coordination meeting with all the stakeholders, and we ensure that the project proponents, they don't have to go to, run from office to office to get the regulatory clearance. However, we ensure that they are delivered regulatory clearance at their doorstep as per the timeline that we have decided. So this is what, this is the example. If you see how the regulatory permissions were given for Micron, you may see that 15 June project was approved by Government of India. 16th June, we approved. We have synergized our policy with GOS policy in such a manner that we hardly take any additional procedure for approving the project or providing other permissions. The moment it is approved by Government of India, it is more of a formality being done at state level. After that, the project was announced on 22nd June. 28 June, we signed MOU for land allotment, and then 11 September, land possession and subsidy was dispersed for land, and 23rd September, groundbreaking ceremony was held. Similarly, if you see even for other projects, the approval was given by state government in no time. So far as infrastructure is concerned, it is actually a Herculean task. And this is how the dreams are brought to reality. Even though Gujarat has a very good infrastructure, especially industrial infrastructure, utility, and logistics. However, we realize that semiconductor and electronics, they require infrastructure which is one notch up. And that's why a huge initiative has been taken to develop Dholera as a semicon city and develop Sanand as a semicon hub. So if you can see, at Dholera, we are ensuring that utilities are provided with redundancy. So we are ensuring that power is provided with two different sources. Similarly, water supply is ensured 100 MLD of committed water supply, ensured through two different sources. Similarly, gas supply ensured through two different sources. And government has invested huge amount to ensure this. In addition to this, there is a dedicated express highway linking Ahmedabad to Dholera. There is a dedicated railway line linking the nearby Pipavav port to Dholera. An international airport is coming up right at Dholera. The cargo terminal will be launched by next month, and the passenger terminal will be launched by the end of this year. So this is the kind of resources being invested by state government and also by central government. Not only this, but a number of social infrastructure, socio-economic infrastructure also ensured. So there are coming up our international level school, hospital, a fire station, a residential facility, guest house, hotel. So all this, and of course, a kind of international tent city, all these facilities are coming up at Dholera, and Sanand is not behind. Very soon we will see a different Sanand. Sanand, government has upgraded Sanand from C-class municipality to A-class, and it is going to be one of the few smart cities that we have in Gujarat. So if we look at all these projects, not only that we have ensured that they come up in timeline, however, the task was very difficult, not only for the project proponents, but also for the state government, because the institutions needed to be built, the infrastructure needed to be provided, and going forward, there had been number of asks, which we were not aware in the beginning. So one such example is very soon Micron is likely to be announced as SEZ. And for that, state government along with number of ministries of central government work together, and in a record time, all the approvals which are of very complex nature, which otherwise would have taken a lot of time, has been done within a very, very short time. So these are the kind of speed with which both central government and state government are moving and ensuring that all the institutions are developed as required by this sector. There have been requirements where RBI needed to have specific norms, customs needed to have specific norms, central and state GST needed to have specific norms for labor, for industrial safety, and for several utility and infrastructure related norms were required to be enhanced and established. But all that have been done within a record time. So as we see, Micron began with a mini site, Mini Pioneer, and that was activated before its scheduled commissioning time. And the main Pioneer, their main facility is also moving equally fast, and very soon MEP activities will begin. Amitesh has already mentioned their feedback. So their feedback has been very encouraging. They said that they could build facility at a much lower cost. I don't want to put the number. They have also given us an estimated number, but it has been built at a much lower cost. And for the employees, the training schedule or skilling schedule that they had designed, they could do it at a much shorter schedule. And they anticipated that for their Mini Pioneer, probably they need to bring people from outside. However, we got the feedback that their Mini Pioneer is run almost by the local employees. So, I mean, they feel that confident with the local employees. And same was the feedback by other project proponent as well. So, the Gujarat IT-ITS policy also supports the design and testing facility, and we have also come out with a GCC policy that also supports the testing and design facility, and Infineon is the first company who is the beneficiary of this policy. So Infineon is going to set up design and testing facility at Gift City, which is near Gandhinagar. So far as human resources are concerned, again here we are improving month by month we are improving. So we have 11 institutions of national importance. There are 118 engineering colleges. Every year more than 100,000 engineers pass out from Gujarat. And we are focusing a lot on industry-specific skilling. We have set up specific skilling for Micron. It is in partnership with PDU and Department of Science and Technology, and specific center for skilling has been set up. ATMP Skilling Center has been set up at PDU. A number of such other skilling centers have been set up at IIT Gandhinagar, also at Ganpat University, and we are working on setting up a center of excellence in hub and spoke model. So there will be one hub, one co-hub, and 8 spokes. There will be about 5 design centers and incubators, and there will be entire ecosystem. So we have again the educational and skilling institutions all over Gujarat, and the entire state has been geared up. So this is industry and academia collaboration, as I have just mentioned. Now, so far as Dholera is concerned, I have already mentioned the kind of infrastructure we are developing here. We are going to start very soon development of phase 2 of Dholera. Similarly, Sanand GIDC, which is a semiconductor hub, there also we are almost exhausting the available land parcels, and very soon we are starting development of phase 2 in the vicinity. And here also we have ensured that every utility is provided for. So these are the present status of, Along with that, as I mentioned, the entire ecosystem is important. So downstream applications as well as upstream component, raw material, this entire ecosystem we are focusing on. For downstream, we also have electronics policy in place. Government of India has just come out with electronics component scheme. Many of them covered in the present policy. However, we are also coming out very soon with state-specific electronics component policy. So that will further deepen our downstream application and ecosystem. There are several non-fiscal support in the form of facilitation and commitment. And the latest one for downstream application is our space tech policy, where we have the legacy of late Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, and we also have Space Application Center. So we are focusing on construction of or building manufacturing satellite, payload, ground application, and entire startup ecosystem. So with this, we are very hopeful that the story that is getting unfolded in Gujarat and in India will definitely lead to a much more expanded sector, not only in Gujarat, but very soon in other states of the India. And with South Korea especially, we look forward to build partnership so far as manufacturing is concerned for memory chips, for display. A lot of focus on research and development. This is such a disruptive sector, and we are quite mindful that we require constant R&D, especially industry-level R&D, and we are providing sufficient facilities for that. We are setting up a common clean room at Dholera for this purpose, and also at IIT Gandhinagar. So in R&D, capacity building, innovation, there is a huge potential to work together. And as mentioned by one of the speakers, let us focus on co-innovation, co-creation, co-development. We are very much for that. And even for infrastructure and utilities, also we invite collaboration support from South Korea. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I wish grand success to this third India-Korea Partnership Forum. Thank you very much. Gamzamida.
For two questions from the Ms. Mona Khandar. So please raise your question. Yes, the gentleman.
Namaste, I'm a professor in South Korea in Kyunggi University since last 25 years. I've been living, coming from Korea and going. So I just wanted, in the semiconductor industry, I have come, since I am an environmentalist, I work on water, K-Water. There's a company called K-Water, a good supply of water. So in the semiconductor industry, what I have heard, I'm not a professional, there's a lot of water which is required for setting up a semiconductor industry. Gujarat obviously must be having a lot. I've once been to Gujarat. Do the government have such policies that they can shift their focus? I belong from Bihar. So Bihar, UP, and Bengal. These places also need to be focused by the government of Korea as well as the government of India. Most of the things are going to Punjab, or what is the focus of the Indian government towards look east policy, what Modi ji says? What is the policy and what are the possibilities of Bihar, Odisha and Bengal in the semiconductor industry? Because IT people, there are a lot of IT guys who are there in Bangalore and all. So I just wanted to give a focus that what about look east policy where you guys, Korean companies can come. Because Patna Airport has been inaugurated by Honorable Chief Minister, Prime Minister Modi sir, 2 days back it started. So the hours, there's no direct flight to Bangalore from Korea. There's no direct flight to Ahmedabad from Korea. since Bihar or Calcutta removes 1 hour of Korea direct connectivity, if we start a flight from Korea to Patna or Korea to Calcutta or Korea, so that will be another suggestion to look East policy as per the Prime Minister of India. Thank you very much.
I think it is more for Amitesh to answer, but however, I'll just mention that Government of India has a policy for the entire country. So of course, every state is included in that vision and that strategy. However, every state has some unique advantage. And as I mentioned in my presentation, Gujarat has advantage when it comes to manufacturing, as Bangalore has advantage when it comes to services or IT. Again, Bihar also has a lot of advantage. Orissa has advantage, or when it comes to minerals, Chhattisgarh has advantage. So I'm sure semiconductor encompasses so many sectors. Its ecosystem encompasses so many sectors. And India is such a big country that all the states will definitely be included in this entire ecosystem. And going forward, just like Gujarat, I'm very sure many such clusters will come up. As today we see in Taiwan, there are so many science parks, like Hsinchu may be the first one. So Gujarat may be the first one, but definitely not the only one. There are going to be several other parks, I'm sure, and we hope to present a successful, good model that other states also may like to implement.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm asking this question just because we have got a longest Ganges in Patna. And we have a lot of water supply from Himalayas. So I am not opposing, first you start in Gujarat, and please give us a chance to do something in Bihar also. Thank you very much.
So I will also give you some perspective to this. So Government of India has a policy which provides level playing field to all the states. And recently you have seen the Assam facility, Tata's facility. There's a very big facility coming in Assam, in Morigaon, and in the near future we will see some announcements also coming from those states, eastern states. So there is a equal effort, and the states are also competing with each other. So the companies, they are able to attract the companies, such states are successful. So I think you will see good amount of traction in eastern states also. Thank you.
Thank you for the reply. Before we move to the next, we would like to take one more question. Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Khandar. And it's really wonderful, tremendous to see how Gujarat is doing in enhancing the semiconductor industry in India. And my question is, I just want to understand more on the gaps that you've identified right now, and more towards what is the necessity and what is the policy course towards encouraging SMEs to plug into the value addition ecosystem of semiconductors? And do you think there would be a possibility of collaborative accelerators, that is South Korea and India accelerators, encouraging startups in India to plug into the value system?
Thank you very much. I think this is a very important question. In fact, Government of India is now holding every year Semi-India. We are also holding Gujarat Semiconnect. While the focus of Government of India is more on policy framework and other thing, looking at global perspective, our focus is totally on connecting local industries or MSMEs with global industry. So that is what our efforts are totally focused on that, because semiconductor and hand electronics, they will require all this. Like, I will give a simple example. There is a specialized suit that is being worn before going into the facility. So for manufacturing those suits, or even cleaning and laundry of those suits, very, very specific kind of skills and facilities required, which actually comes from MSME. So this is just one example. There are hundreds of such requirements, and for this purpose only, we hold our event, wherein the project proponents, they hold several meetings with several MSMEs. And it has been like very successful and very fruitful one. We are seeing lot of such business collaborations taking place, not only with MSMEs of Gujarat, but MSMEs from other states as well. So a lot of focus on that. And number two, startups, very, very important. And we look forward to build a collaboration with South Korea and with other countries also. Because as I mentioned, this is as disruptive as we are seeing AI and other IT-related technologies. And we are seeing, again, it has come down to now 2 and 3 nanometer size of chips. And a lot of application and design-related complexity and innovations are taking place. And there we see a lot of space being created for developing startup ecosystem. And that's why in our scheme of setting up Center of Excellence, we have kept 5 design centers, 5 incubators and accelerators. So definitely startups are very, very important in our strategy, and we look for collaboration in this area. Thank you.
Thank you again for your valuable insight.
So, sorry, I have 2 questions heard before leaving because I already have prepared so many questions, but I have no time. And thank you so much for your good presentations. I understand the Gujarat is one of the hub for the semiconductor ecosystem in India, definitely. You already explained so many the incentive, and also personally I'm very impressed a kind of the approval system. Approvals 24 hours by 24 hours is very, very wonderful system, I think. My question is, as your presentation also, and according to some newspapers, I think the Tata Electronics, they are at this moment building the chip fab. So according to the newspapers, by next year, 2026, they will start the chip productions with 20,000 the skilled workers, directly, indirectly. So is it feasible? The Tata Electronics produce by 2026 next years with the huge manpower. And my second question is, in your the presentation, the SIMTech story is there, but you do not explain much more. So what will be happened in the SIMTech, the project? As you know, please explain us. Thank you.
I very much wanted to mention, but in the interest of time, I had to limit it. So taking your second question first, SIMTech is a very important ecosystem partner of Micron, and we are very happy to have SIMTech. And let me just mention that for SIMTech, a lot of special efforts took place. I mean, we gave approval immediately because our policy was very much in operation. However, Government of India's policy had just closed. So SIMTech's application came at a later stage. However, we worked very closely with Government of India and very closely for each and every step. And Government of India also took special effort. And that's how SIMTech got incentives both under state policy as well as central policy. So, I mean, just to mention the kind of focus, for each application in the ecosystem is so important for both. That is number one. Number two, for SIMTech, we have given all the approvals. There is one thing, because Sanand is a zero liquid discharge. So that is a little challenge that we are tackling jointly. And very soon we are hopeful that we'll come out with a solution. But it is very much within the schedule. once Micron start production, Simtech will also be able to do that. So we are very much in contact with Simtech, and their team is closely discussing with us. So it is very important, and we are very happy to have Simtech. Question number 2 is Dholera. So Tata's project is in phases. So 20,000 employees are going to be there for sure, but not all of them are going to be by 2026. It will be between 2026 to 2027. But let me mention, by March 26, lot of social facilities will already be there. By March 26, we will have about 1,000 apartments for the engineers to stay. Tokyo Electron is one of the important ecosystem partner of Tata. So their 150 engineers are likely to land sometime in October. And we already have sufficient facility available, about 250 apartments already available for them. For Tata also, I mean, Micron, we had to work every day with them because, as I mentioned, we had to build a number of institutions. And that now Micron story is coming to a successful commissioning very soon. Similarly, now we are working with Tata. Tata is a fab project and a much more complex one. So now from Micron, we are working on daily basis with Tata and trying to meet each of their ask within time. And I'm sure we are seeing progress on daily basis. Those who came to Gujarat Semiconnect in March 2025, about the delegates in 10 buses went to Dholera and 8 buses went to Sanand, and they could see how these facilities are coming up. So it will definitely come up as per the schedule, and we will ensure, along with the support of central government, that whatever facilitation or whatever support they need, we will ensure that all that support is extended to them. And with this 2 successful commissioning, we have put all the institutions in place. So, for other now, the investors who come now onwards, it will be much more easier for them, and it will be much more smoother for them.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. Anku Jain, the Managing Director of MediaTek India and ex-Executive Council member of India Electronics and Semiconductor Association.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I think it was great to hear Amitesh ji and Mona ji, all the lightning thoughts, very, very encouraging. So I'm wearing 2 hats. I'm the head of MediaTek India, which is a global fabless semiconductor company based out of Taiwan, and we have quite a huge R&D centers in India, in Noida and Bangalore, with over 1,000 engineers. And also I'm Executive Council member of ISA, which is the India Electronics Semiconductor Association. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm representing ISA today. So this slide shows, what is India all about, and why there is so much vibrancy and so much expectation in what we are doing. So I think some of this was covered earlier, but I would just like to reiterate that India is, the fastest growing G20 economy. We have the highest fintech adoption, second largest internet user base, and vibrant startup ecosystem. I think all that brings about a lot of opportunity, not only overall as an industry, but also, as we will see later, in the semiconductor ecosystem. And we are the 4th largest. This is a bit old slide. We are 4th largest now in the economy, with 7 to 8% GDP growth. We have 522 working class population. So again, not only the business opportunity, but also how to execute, that is also available. And from the startup ecosystem point of view, we have over 85,000 registered startups. We are, you must have seen in the newspapers, a lot of success stories in the startup ecosystem in India. And over 25,000 technology startups out of that, 3,000 startups leveraging deep tech AI, and 24 billion plus equity investments from foreign countries into India. So as you can see, there's a lot of, the ecosystem has really developed from the startup point of view, from the industry point of view, and it's present a huge opportunity. And that's the reason I think even the earlier speakers had mentioned that, India would like to invite the Korean companies to set up more engagement in India. Secondly, I will talk about a bit about ISA. ISA is Indian Electronics and Semiconductor Association. So we represent the semiconductor industry in India. We have about 400 members. And we have kind of 4 different legs, which is industry, academia, society, and government. We have 400 members, and we were established 19 years ago. And I think in the last 2 or 3 years, I think momentum has really gained a lot. In fact, in March this year, we were in Gujarat, and I met Mona ma'am there, and that was part of the ISA Vision Summit. And I could see so much semiconductor ecosystem players over there. It was absolutely amazing. And before that, last year, we had a Semicon India event in Delhi. And there I could see global heads from all semiconductor players around the world, which were there. And one thing I could see there was, I remember someone mentioning about FOMO factor, fear of missing out. So many industry players who came in from other countries, they mentioned, we have to be here in India, because otherwise it'll be a FOMO factor, which is driving them to be here. And now we can see so much action already happened in Gujarat and other states, which is really very encouraging. So this is a bit detail about what ISA does. From the industry point of view, we want to promote growth of electronics and semiconductor business in India. And we are the go-to destination for ESDM, integration of India into the global ESDM supply chain, and of course, supporting the startup ecosystem. Also, you can see a lot of startups, getting created in the semiconductor ecosystem as well. And international collaboration, which is the most important thing. From government, we advise government on the policy implementation and highlight industry concerns for government attention and resolution. And of course, we have academia, society, and membership growth. These are the areas we are focusing on. And I think altogether, we have seen a lot of traction in the last couple of years in terms of industry engagement. And this is a summary. We have 400 plus members, and we have members from all walks of life. And as you could, I will show in the next slide, this semiconductor ecosystem actually involves a lot of different value chain players. And therefore, we have to engage with all of them. So materials, EDA, design, manufacturing equipment companies, international companies, and so on. And recently, we also had a strategic alliance with SEMI. So SEMI is a global association which are representing global semiconductor companies. And you can see this is the kind of influence that SEMI has. And now ISA and SEMI have a strategic collaboration so that ISA gets a global visibility across the world. And also, of course, SEMI has also a kind of good interface in India. So this is, you can see like all the companies globally which are mentioned here. And this is, I would like to just mention, not going into details, but these are the kind of steps which are involved in the semiconductor ecosystem. From sand to silicon, that's what we call it. Sand, silicon wafer, fabricated wafer, etc. And before that, you have the design aspect, the customer's application idea, IP, SoC development, and so on. And what I want to say in this slide is that, the business opportunities are at every stage in India. So you would see that in the last 20 to 30 years, we had companies like MediaTek, who are pure design companies, fabless design companies, have done really, really well. But now, in the last couple of years, we can see even the manufacturing taking speed. So both the design part and manufacturing is actually have had very great progress. And you can see all components are important, and all of them present business opportunity in India. And this shows, I'll just talk about 2 numbers here. This is a global market for semiconductor. So right now in 2021, the market was $590 billion. On the left side, you can see that. And by 2030, it is expected to be $1 trillion. So that's a huge growth which is expected in the semiconductor ecosystem in globally. And all of that, in India, we have, in this slide, you can see that, India was at 22 billion in 2020. And we are expected to grow to $103 billion in terms of semiconductor market in India. So this again shows the kind of opportunity which is available in India, right? And I think I would really invite the Korean companies who are present here to look at this and see the opportunity and hopefully make some move in that direction. And all of this, of course, this is the semiconductor market. On the left side, you can see the India end equipment market. So this includes electronics industries, for example, wearables, aerospace, etc. And this is going to be 400 billion by 2030. So both the opportunities, like the electronics ecosystem and also the semiconductor ecosystem, are seeing huge growth in the next few years. And finally, this is I think we already heard about six projects which are driven by the government of India. But overall, if you include the state government supported projects, actually we have 16 overall in India. And you can see all over the country, we have some projects which are set up for manufacturing. And this again shows the kind of traction that we have in manufacturing. And about $22 billion worth of projects are already committed, and out of which 21 billion is actually also which are members of ISA. So that's a great thing for ISA. But I think you can, on this slide, you can see so much great traction and great progress in the manufacturing ecosystem for semiconductors. This is, probably I'll skip this, but I think there's some shortage of time. So this shows that semiconductor actually occupies a very important position in the value chain. It has 10 to 60% of the BOM of electronic systems. So it really holds a very important position in the value chain. And let me skip a few of these. And again, these are some opportunities for the semiconductor ecosystem, for the startup community, like design outsourcing house, standard cell library. But this is more for design aspect. But I think these are also opportunities for the semiconductor ecosystem. And these are some, the state contributions. I think we can see Gujarat on the top there, not by intention, but it is there, of course. And but you can see all the different states have, doing a lot to contribute to the semiconductor ecosystem in India. Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, etc. So you can see all the states, many of the states are having a big promise and big contribution to this. And this is a summary, and this is the last slide for me, I think. And so India is on a fast-track journey of semiconductor powerhouse. We are leveraging design talent pool, and I think we mentioned, I think previous speakers mentioned about the talent pool available in India. It's really tremendous. And manufacturing journey in momentum. For certainly, I talked about 16 plants being set up. Great support and enablement from Government of India and state governments. Indian corporates are investing in semiconductor and electronics sector. And again, I like to talk about, the Korean companies should consider investment through captive plants or joint venture or technology transfer to Indian companies in semiconductor and electronics sector. It's really a huge opportunity to be present in India. It's the right time and absolutely exciting time. And these are the expectations. So with that, let me come to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, KIEP. Thank you, Euy, for organizing this interactive session, and also giving me the opportunity to present Invest India, where I come from, and pitch to the future investors from South Korea to come to India. So before I begin with my presentation, I just would like to address to the South Korean companies here regarding the manufacturing, electronics manufacturing in India. Whatever could have been said has already been said in the forum today. So I will not be repeating anything, while my presentation will definitely cover some of the aspects which have already been talked about. I'll rather try to, pitch directly to you, request you to recall the time of 1970s and 80s when Samsung was just beginning with their innovation journey. So that was a time when they thought that let's innovate. Let's start our anchor point. Let's not just imitate somebody, but go into a new forum or a new strategy. So that is then, and 20 years later, they were able to make a mark for themselves. They were able to bring South Korea to the global map. It's time now that South Korean companies think alike, but they collaborate with India to have a win-win journey. You would have observed, listened, and also noticed in the news lines that India has become the 4th largest economy, and it would not be late for India to become the 3rd largest economy. And the pace at which India goes, and I think, again, the recent news are a testimony to this fact that India has been overachieving in these aspects. So the time is now, the time is right, and it is very important that you invest here, not only from the fact of manufacturing, but manufacturing innovative ideas. As highlighted very, very exclusively by our previous speakers, India is contributing towards the, not just establishing some few hubs, it is basically establishing an ecosystem. Along with that, as Sir Amitesh sir had already mentioned, that not only the production in India will be cheapest, it's the workforce here which is also unique. Not only are they talented, yeah, okay. Not only are they talented, they are really hardworking and loyal. So with that note, I'll begin my presentation, and I'll be quick, I'll be brief about that, keeping in point the time that we have at hand. So this is the projection, basically, that the target that India has set for themselves. And again, repeating the same fact that it would not be ambitious of us to say that we will be achieving the same targets way before. The electronics ecosystem, as highlighted by my previous co-speaker also, the electronic ecosystem is not focused in a particular zone, north, west, or south, or even east. It is focused across the country. So whatever suits you, whatever benefits you, keeping in view the different policies of the states as well, you can go around and choose your place of establishing. This map currently just depicts the existing players that you have, the existing companies who have already started manufacturing. The ecosystem, right from the start, from the research work to design to manufacturing, everything, all the players that currently exist in the country are here just shown. And this is not an exhaustive list. This is only an indicated list, just telling you what the picture looks like right now and how it is going to change very soon. So when you come, and this is a question that I'm usually asked when I talk to investors, is what about the supply chain? What is going to happen when we come here? Who is going to be our suppliers, and where are we going to take our products to? So you can see from the slide on the screen that the supply chain development is also the focus. It's not just electronics that is being focused by the government, by the industry players, or any such thing. It is the entire chain that we are focusing on, and when you come to India, you are going to experience the entire, you're going to have that wholesome experience of it. Again, these are some of the figures just which are indicative to tell that what is the aim, what are the the financial figures that we are aiming for, or that we are going to achieve eventually. This is again highlighting something that has already been spoken about on the incentive parts. We are the government is essentially providing incentives in all the segments of electronics. So be it component, be it IT hardware, be it even the VLSI designs, all the PLI schemes, Semicon India mission has been focused on establishing the basis here in India, and incentivizing the incentives is basically the motto of the government, where we focus on you developing. If you are progressing ahead, we are going to incentivize you on that progress. And with that, I come to an end for my presentation. I would also like to mention that I have my team here who would be more than happy and eager to meet each one of you. And there's a Korea desk which is positioned in Invest India who deals with all these questions, all these queries. At Invest India is the powerhouse, which is a window for you, for all the foreign investors to come to India. We help you with all kind of policy incentives. We guide you for that, we facilitate that, and we can also guide you to other industry players. So again, I thank you, the forum, KIEP and EY, for organizing the event, giving us this platform, and wishing all the very best to everyone. And looking forward to interact with all the investors here. Thank you so much.
So again, I'm Joe, belong to the KIEP Delhi office. Behalf of the participants and behalf of the co-host, thank you so much for your the presentations. So we already invited two more the speakers from the Gujarat government and also the Meiti. But yeah, so but we not enough. But we already have some questions and comments. So now just only we have two panelists. But anyway, so to save time and first I would like to open the floor first. So is there any questions or comments? Please raise your hands. And in that time, so we will give a kind of microphone. So you take the microphone, first introduce yourself briefly and sharing the questions or comments. Anybody's?
Yes, my name is Rajiv, and my question is from Mr. Jain, right? Mr. Jain, if I know well about the semiconductor industry, there are three parts in this industry. First of all is the part which relates to the designing of the chip or designing of the PCB or designing something which relates to the computers right on the screen, right? The second part is fabrication where the machineries are used, right? And the third part is of course selling and all that. So I'm not taking the third part. I'm taking the first two parts to get your question as such. The fabrication industry needs a lot of investment, capital investment. And these capital investment, when you do, there is no guarantee that the machinery you are buying will be true for next 2 years because the technology is changing very fast. So many companies in the world cannot do it. I have seen it in my past because I'm very much associated with semiconductor complex since the 1980s. And the only thing which probably I feel, please correct me if I'm wrong, is the first part, that is the designing part, where Indian can contribute something on that. India cannot contribute anything on the capital equipments or capital machinery as such. So what is your opinion to bring out all these gaps or the leakages, which we can plug it out to find out the possibility of bringing the companies, not only from Korea, from all over the world, to come to India, especially in the fabrication area?
Okay, I think that's a good question. I think people do have doubts on the manufacturing part because it is not an easy game, right? It needs a lot of capital expenditure and a lot of different kind of skills. And you're totally right that India has been very strong in design so far. So if you remember that the TI Textile Instruments got set up in 1984. And since then, I think India has become a powerhouse in terms of design talent available. In fact, over 20% of the global design engineers for semiconductor is from India. So that's an amazing number, 20%. So the design, I think that part of the puzzle has been solved already. So we have all kinds of companies, including MediaTek, which I am heading. And so design is available, design talent is available. For manufacturing, it's a different beast. And I think there are two aspects to that again. One is the CAPEX. So that is somewhat helped out by the government because they have subsidy schemes. 50% by the center and 20% roughly by the state. So that gives a big help. But certainly we have still a big challenge about the skill set required because it is a different kind of skill set which is there and we need to probably invite the foreign companies to have some engineers to come to India to be a seed to get the ball rolling. But we heard earlier Monaji and Amitesh about the traction which is happening for the talent as well. But talent is definitely something which is going to take time. And so CAPEX and talent are there. That's a kind of a gap. But what I've seen is in the last 3-4 years, we have been hearing this manufacturing story. And actually now we can see the fruits of the effort. And with Micron and Tata and PSMC, etc. coming in, I think we can see a real traction happening. So I feel it's a multi-decade effort. I think it'll take maybe 10 more years for the entire ecosystem to really develop as it is in different other countries. But it's a very good start, and we are still working on the legacy node, 28 nanometers and above for manufacturing. But I think the gaps are there, and I think you earlier asked about water. Someone asked about water as well. So water, power, I think all these gaps are there, and they're going to be filled soon.
Yeah, I would like to have some more, come back to the first question again. When you talk about the designing as such, the talent is available. But if you go to a company who's already designing a particular chip or a particular PCB or whatever you may call it, that depends upon the capability of the person who owns probably that company. The people down there, the workers down there do not have any academic qualifications related to the chip design. Call it IIT, call it Vellore, call it anywhere. So the requirement for the students to design a particular chip is not there in education institutes in India at all. Whatever you are saying, whatever you were feeling, all these people working in the design companies, which 20% consist of the world over design capabilities, that is because of the reason the person down there is a rancho, right, of 3 idiots. And he is trying and giving this information to them. And they are just replicating it. There are no students available in India who can say in a laboratory or probably during his engineering that he can design a chip of himself. He cannot.
So see, you're totally right. Design is a difficult game as well, because even that, let's say you want to design a chip for mobile phone or some other device. So the chip design, it's a very R&D intensive work. So it takes millions of dollars to design a chip, and you don't know whether it'll sell, right? So that's a big risk. But now, if you see the last 2 to 3, maybe last 5 years, we are having local design companies as well for fabless. So there are a lot of design companies like L&T has come up. They have very aggressive plans, very ambitious plans, and we have many startups in fabless who have opened their, they have been working on this design aspect. So you're right that most of the design, which is 20%, which is again an amazing number, but it is captive of the the foreign companies. But now we do have a lot of local born fabless startups and companies which are trying to design chips. But I think from academia point of view also, the alignment of what is required for the industry and for design companies and what is given by the electronics engineers is also aligning. It's taking time, but it is getting aligned. So, but I think overall, I would say talent is really very, very good here in India. And I think what you're saying is, when will the local entrepreneurs use their talent to unleash a new chip, right? I think that's what you're trying to say. But that is also happening now, yeah.
I have to say something here.
Yeah.
Whatever he asked the question, the students and workers have not come to your kind of platforms. That's why designing and work is not matching with the economy of Korea and India.
So what is your question?
Why workers and students have not came to your kind of platforms for learning about whatever you want India's economy and Korea's economy to be with work which students and workers do. Those workers have not came to your kind of platform. That's why in India, students don't learn so much to complete the work properly.
No, see, I think, the student talent is also very market-driven aspect. So as and when the new opportunities are increasing in India, which has been, I said about 1980s, that's when it started. So the talent ecosystem has really developed. And the talent creation also is market-driven. So wherever there is demand, the talent gets created in that aspect. So the design has done really well. I would totally vouch for that. I think design talent is really amazing here in India. Manufacturing is something which has started recently in the last 4-5 years, and that is also catching up. But it is all, talent is also market driven. So if engineers graduate from a university, he needs a job, right? So he will study some topic which is having a job. So I think that is kind of a chicken and egg problem, and that is something which gets solved in the long run.
There is a work culture problem between workers. The owners don't bring workers also to learn in the platforms like yours.
No, I think I would not really agree with that. If the workers learn, it's good for the owner, right? So I think it's a win-win if workers are able to increase their talent and help the company. So it is a win-win for both sides. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I would like to ask you, instead of the participants, we already have a pre-questionnaires when you registers. The one of the questions related to the Invest India, you are the in charge in the electronics and semiconductor sector in Invest India, and Invest India has a kind of some pivot role in promoting and supporting the foreign investment in India, electronics and semiconductor industries. So I think you have so many times to meet the foreign companies. So in this sector, the electronics and the semiconductor sector. So how do you address what is the most the common concerns or hesitance of expressed by the global companies looking to invest in India?
So usually the questions revolve around the supply chain, very honestly, and it is so it depends on the the company that is coming in. If it's a high-end company, they have different set of questions. That is when they think about the site exactly. They think on the logistics part, because then they are not only thinking about making their products being utilized domestically, they also think about exporting it. But when we approach the middle segment companies, they generally ask about what are the big companies doing, how are they supplying, how are they manufacturing, where are they taking their supplies from, and all those kind of questions. So it is the supply chain, and basis the inputs, basis the questions that we receive from the investors, we researched on those and we took our suggestions to the government. And basis that, there have been some policy changes as well. There are certain things that have already been implemented. There are certain things that are coming in the future. So essentially, it is the ecosystem that they want to focus on. They want to know more about what is India planning and what are the targets that India is setting for itself.
So, and
maybe I can add to something on this. I think the question is, what will take for the foreign companies to come to India, right? So based on what I have discussed with the different companies who want to set up something here, is India is like a black box for them. So they don't know what is it, how will it work, right? And it is, India of course has a lot of chaos and a lot of those kind of things. So a new company is kind of hesitating to come to India. So my suggestion normally is that you got to find good local leadership who knows about the India ways of working. And then, of course, that local leader should be, very able to understand the HQ ways of working, right? I think that kind of bridge is required. So, because India is really, talent is really huge, and it's a very, very good opportunity. But people feel that they feel it's a black box, they don't know what will happen. And I think if that kind of trust can be built up, I think more companies can come to India.
Yes, right. He's at this moment the MD of the MediaTek. The MediaTek is one of the great the feminist company in Taiwan. But I think you do not have the fab. But anyway, I think you know very well as a kind of the foreign investors, and also I think you are the ex-chairperson of the ISA. So the ISA is contribute to making the policies and schemes between the government and the business sector. So as a representative of the business sector, especially the semiconductors, especially to making fab, not your families. So I think, and your slide also so many projects already we have in India. So what kind of the challenges in private sector to make the fab? What is the main challenges for them?
Okay, so before that, I'll just correct you. I'm not the ex-chairperson. I'm the executive council member of ISA. Yeah. So, the question you have is, what are the challenges for setting up manufacturing in India, right? I think some of that she mentioned, and of course others I would say is again the infrastructure is still developing. Earlier we heard Mona ma'am talking about housing and airport and all those things. I think those things are also important for the foreign people to come here. So that is happening as we speak. But I think infrastructure is a doubt people have in other countries, whether it will really do well, it will be able to surpass all the challenges. And second is about the talent, as I mentioned earlier. So I think the kind of skill set required for fab and manufacturing is very, very different. So that will take some time to build up over the next few years. But as I see the way things are progressing, it is a matter of time. So I think over the next 1 decade or 2 decades even, I think India will be in a very solid position for manufacturing for semiconductors. But challenges are such, infrastructure and even the market. I mean, people always ask, if I set up a fab in India, then who will consume the chips, right? Because is that ecosystem already there? Or they will have to just export. But then Amitesh mentioned about India could be the cheapest manufacturing hub for chips. So I think all these things are work in progress, but things are looking very promising as I see it. Yeah.
I think you also agree, I think, in terms of a kind of the manufacturing hub for the semiconductor. I think the Gujarat is a rising star, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In terms of many things, I already explained the kind of the 24 hours, the approval system is very surprised.
Yeah.
So anyway, a part of the Gujarat, what is very difficult questions? What states do you recommend? If you are the foreign investors,
I think
apart of the Gujarat, which states do you?
It's a difficult for me to comment. Probably she can do that better. But I think all the states are competing. I think it's a healthy competition. So you can see the Gujarat representative really selling Gujarat, right? Come to Gujarat. Gujarat is great. But if you talk to, let's say, Uttar Pradesh chief minister or representative, he will also do the same. I think everyone is very, very aggressive in terms of inviting the foreign players to come to their state. And I think it's all driven by our Prime Minister Modi, that he really wants to drive the Make in India initiative, which started in 2014. It's already 11 years. And I think that has driven all the states to do something about it, right? So I think it's a very healthy competition, but maybe she can talk about which states.
But she can more difficult to explain because she is belong to invest in India. But anyway.
I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge and interest of the investors also here. While I do agree that all these states are competing with each other, but you can see there are certain hubs which are getting developed very, very significantly and very, very progressively. So the West is definitely one of the hotspots. It's the South also which is, gathering and becoming one of the centers. When you see the Foxconn industry, not just, why I'm saying industry, because when it came, it has been developing the entire area around it for the development of the electronics and manufacturing and supplying for the domestic markets, as well as now looking into the exports. So it's not just certain spots. There are in the south, then the northeast is coming up very well. Assam, for example, it is coming up very well, and we have seen interest from the investors specifically asking for those spots. So we have conducted, there are some examples of companies where we have conducted almost 21 site visits in just the Assam region to tell them what all it involves and how it will be easy for them to establish a company there. So while I do agree the length and breadth of the country is progressing, but there are certain regions which are attracting investors also.
Assam is rising. Yeah, so as far as I know, in the OSA or OSAT, yes, the Tata Electronics will be started in the earliest in India, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Soon enough. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions or comments? I can see. Okay.
Everybody is talking about the possibility whether South Korea and India can proceed with this chip semiconductor industry. But I want to know what are the challenges or major irritants in this partnership? Because possibilities are huge, I understand. But what could be the challenge? What could be the challenge having this partnership going little further compared to other countries like Taiwan or Japan or America? Because I do see a trend that sometimes South Korean companies are little hesitant in putting the first step. They try to follow the path set by the other countries or companies. But what could be the possible, roadblocks or area of concerns for South Korean investors in India? Thank you.
Your question to me or?
It is.
Anyway,
Okay, I'll take that.
Please. Yeah.
It's not always the business aspects when we are talking to South Korean companies. At times it is the language also, very honestly. And when and at times it's about the township also. And for that reason, there are aspects where the government is also thinking, where we are also in talks with industry bodies of establishing townships, on the lines of the townships for Japan and Taiwan. So those aspects give them a comfort feeling that when they come here, when they establish their bases here, they are going to have the facilities of schools or healthy living and all the natural asks for living here in India. So I think at times that plays a very important factor apart from the business aspects, because business it is basically the driving force. So the business part is handled quite well with other companies also, but these are the aspects where the government is also thinking, and sometimes we do delve into discussions on these matters as well. And the rest of the challenges specifically, I think it's again it's more pertaining to the manufacturers and where the export is going to go. The logistic is also a big issue. That is why the Gati Shakti scheme was eventually launched. So it's basis these questions only that we go back to the government, and then we pose all these problems with some possible solutions, and essentially that is why the changes are also happening. So yeah.
Mr. Che, you have comments?
Yeah, I think in addition to that, something which I'll just repeat what I said earlier. For a company like in South Korea or many such countries in the East Asia, right? I think the biggest factor I've seen is that to take the first step is they think, India is a black box and they don't know how will that things happen and how will they trust, right? So I think once that step is, crossed, I think everything else becomes quite fast. So I think the first step would be if, they can be given some confidence that, get a local leadership here, or maybe a Korean expat can come here and live here for some time and for that company, right? And I think that will, he can kind of normalize the India style of working. And right, and I think which is very different from the way other countries work. I think that's the biggest factor. And once that happens, that confidence builds up. I think the other things can take care of it. Like in MediaTek, we started our operation in 2004, 21 years. And so we are running a very smooth operation now and doing very cutting edge work for our global R&D and more than 1,000 engineers. So it's doing very, very well. And that is true with many other such companies. So I think first step is, I feel that is the first step is a problem. And I think everything else is kind of takes care of it.
Yeah, I think your question is very important and very challenges for between both Korea and India, especially in the semiconductor as well as any part also. But next sessions we will have the four speakers. Three speakers comes from the Korea, so we can discuss more. So now I have to close this session because
I'm about to begin session 2, and the session will welcome to session 2, and the session will focus on business policy framework and Indian business environment with South Korea. To begin, I honored to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Jongwan Ko, Director of Korean Semiconductor Industry Association. He will speak on status of Korea semiconductor industry and international cooperation. This session provides pre-recorded presentation due to some network issue. Kindly listen carefully.
Meet you. I am Jongwan Ko, Director at KSIA. KSIA represents Korea semiconductor industry. We work closely with the Korea government and our member companies to develop national semiconductor strategy and to propose related policies. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce the Korea semiconductor industry and explore potential cooperation with India on this important occasion. I hope today's discussion will lead to deep understanding of the semiconductor industry and strengthen cooperation between the two countries. First, let me explain the current status of the global semiconductor market and Korea's market share. The semiconductor industry has continued to grow along with the advance in IT device. The market has expanded from about $50 billion in the 1990s to $683 billion in 2024. Growth in the semiconductor industry has been driven by PCs, mobile, and consumer electronics in the 1990s, 2000s, smartphone and tablet in the 2010s, and recently by AI and autonomous vehicle. As a key driver of future industry, the importance of semiconductors continue to grow, and the market is expanded to continue its expansion. The global semiconductor market is projected to grow by 15% in 2025, reaching $783 billion USD. Memory will represent $202 billion, with $486 billion USD from logic ICs. Looking ahead, the market is expanded to grow at an average annual rate of 6.8%, reaching $948 billion USD by 2028. As of 2024, Korea holds about 18.5% of the global semiconductor market, ranking second after the United States. Korea is especially strong in memory semiconductors, with the dominant 65.6% shares as the world #1 supplier. We take 75% of the global DRAM and 56% of the NAND flash market. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix are the top two memory chip producers worldwide. With advanced technology, Korea's companies hold over 90% of the global HBM market, which is gaining importance with the rise of AI. Let me now turn to semiconductor design and manufacturing, known as fabless and foundry. The United States currently leads the global fabless market with a dominant share of 83%, while Korea's hold a relatively small, only 1%. Nevertheless, with the AI transforming the semiconductor landscape, Korea is seeing the rise of competitive startups like Rebellious and Furiosa, which are gaining global attention for their technological capability. In the foundry segment, Korea plays a key role. Samsung Electronics holds the second largest market share after TSMC, with roughly 14% of global revenue. Samsung collaborates with the leading fabless firms, particularly in the US, and expands its partnership globally, including India. In 2024, global semiconductor CapEx declined slightly by 2% from last year to $133.4 billion USD. Korea takes 28% of the market, making it one of the most active investment regions along with China and Taiwan. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix have been the main drivers of the investment. Although inflation led to temporarily slowdown in 2022 and 2023, capital investment is expanded to regain momentum in 2025, both in Korea and worldwide. Next is the semiconductor equipment and material market. Korea is one of the top investors in semiconductor facilities, forming a major market for equipment and materials. In 2024, Korea accounted for 17.4% of the global equipment market and 60.6% of the material market. China's 43.3% share includes investment by Korean companies like Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix operating in China. Taking this into account, Korea's actual presence in the equipment market is even greater. and it presents a significant opportunity for global equipment and material suppliers. Next, I would like to share the current status of Korea's semiconductor industry. Semiconductors are at the core of Korea's economy. In 2024, semiconductor export reached 141.9 billion USD, our number one export item, taking 20.9% of total export volume. It is also Korea's most heavily invested industry. In 2023, capital investment in the semiconductor industry totaled 46.4 billion USD and continue to grow each year. The semiconductor industry directly employs around 215,000 people in Korea, playing a central role in national employment. Most semiconductor companies in Korea are concentrated in the Greater Seoul area, including Gyeonggi Province. Others are located in regions such as Chungcheongbuk-do and Chungcheongnam-do. The regional distribution is largely driven by the availability of specialized talent. Manufacturing facilities are located in cities such as Gihun, Hwaseong, Pyeongtaek, Incheon, Onyang, and Cheongju, with equipment and material companies nearby. Feminist companies, on the other hand, are clustered in Pangyo, near Seoul, which serves as Korea's startup and innovation hub. This slide shows major semiconductor manufacturers operating in Korea, both domestic and global. Manufacturing is divided into front-end and back-end process. In front-end, Korea has two memory IDM and foundries such as Samsung Electronics, SK Hynix, and DB High-Tech. Back-end manufacturing is led by global OSA companies like Anku, JCT, and Stajipek. Korea also hosts a number of global and domestic equipment and material companies. In wafer manufacturing, Korea companies such as SK Hynix operate along with major global players like Global Wafers from Taiwan. In materials, numerous international companies from Japan and Germany have established operation in Korea. Global equipment manufacturers such as Applied, Research, ASML, and TEL also operate R&D centers and manufacturing facilities in Korea, closely collaborating with local companies. These are Korea's semiconductors, materials, component, and equipment company. They specialize in key process areas such as deposition, cleaning, etching, and packaging. Many of these SMEs are already validated suppliers to Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, and I look forward to expanding collaboration with the Indian manufacturers and SMEs. The Korean government provide a policy support to create a friendly business environment for global semiconductor companies operating in Korea. First, in terms of cluster, the government helps secure industrial land and provide financial assistance for facility establishment. Second, it offers tax incentive for R&D and capital investment and provides support for critical utilities such as wafer and electricity. Third, the government supports workforce development, offering programs to train and supply highly skilled professionals for the industry. We are also pushing regulatory reforms to remove unnecessary restrictions. Special laws are being introduced to build a stronger legal framework for semiconductor development. The Korean government is also supporting R&D and commercialization projects to secure cutting-edge technology. We are stressing the development of advanced semiconductor chips such as NPU, HBM, and NP required in the AI era, along with R&D support for advanced packaging technology for these chips. In addition to R&D support, we also provide financial support such as low interest loan and funds necessary for the production and development of the developed chips prototype. Finally, I'd like to highlight the importance of global semiconductor cooperation, especially between Korea and India. Semiconductors serve as the brain of all electronic devices. Recently, semiconductors have been playing an important role in advanced industries such as bio, AV, AI, and robot. As a strategic asset, the importance of semiconductors continues to grow. So many countries try to achieve semiconductor self-sufficiency by enhancing their technological and manufacturing capability. However, the industry currently faces major challenges, including barriers in scaling advanced process technology, rising costs, and a shortage of skilled talent. As semiconductor manufacturing approaches the limits of scaling, the cost and time required to develop leading-edge process have increased. Moreover, the cost of building semiconductor fabs has also increased from an average of 1.6 billion USD in 2009 to over 17 billion per fab today. This requires a massive capital investment. These technical barriers and massive investment are too large for any single company or country to bear alone. Furthermore, as semiconductor technology advances and global facility investment expand, the demand for highly skilled design and manufacturing talent is rapidly increasing. However, the shortage of specialized talent is becoming a significant obstacle. As mentioned, the semiconductor industry is facing various challenges: technological complexity, investment cost, and a shortage of skilled workforce. To overcome this global challenge, cross-border collaboration is essential. We can strengthen joint research among academia, industry to advance semiconductor technologies. We should also develop highly skilled professionals through international exchange programs. In addition, coordinated efforts to manage the supply chain are crucial to building sustainable semiconductor ecosystem. International cooperation to address these challenges is already taking shape in multiple forms. A notable example is the establishment of Korea and US semiconductor operation in Vietnam. The global semiconductor industry is facing a severe shortage of skilled talent. As a result, Vietnam is emerging as a strategic hub for semiconductor companies with its young, highly capable workforce. Major global semiconductor companies are expanding into Vietnam. For example, Anku Technology and Hana Micron have established packaging plant, while Marvel and ADT have set up design center. India is also rapidly emerging as a global semiconductor manufacturing and R&D hub. With strong policy support from the Indian government, Micron operates a packaging fab and Applied runs its R&D center. Simtech, a Korean company, has also signed an MOU for the construction of an Indian fab. India is already a competitive player in the automotive and IT industry with many strong companies. Therefore, we are expecting active cooperation with India in the semiconductor industry as well. Korea and India can build a highly synergetic partner across the semiconductor supply chain. Korea is a global leader in memory semiconductor like HBM with strong back-end equipment and advanced technology in AI chip design and foundry. India, in turn, is emerging as a key semiconductor R&D and manufacturing hub in the Asia supply chain and a strong base of competitive IT and automotive manufacturing company and workforce. Our countries can create great synergy across the entire supply chain. I hope today's meetings will be a meaningful step toward deeper cooperation between our companies. To put our cooperation into action, I believe we should begin by identifying joint R&D opportunity at the university or research institute level. I especially hope we can start working together in automotive IC field where India has strong infrastructure and potential. Second, we need to open channel to help our companies access new market. For example, participating in major exhibitions like SEDEX in Korea and Semicon in India will support business networking and expansion. Lastly, I hope we can share key information regularly and launch joint talent development program to build a strong and lasting foundation for cooperation. KSIA and KSIA member company will visit India in coming September during Semicon India. I hope to discuss more at that time. The post-COVID has brought rapid digital transformation with many change and challenges for the semiconductor industry. But at the same time, it also presents new opportunity for us to grow together. I hope today's meeting will serve as a starting point in Korea and India to take on challenge together, grow together, and build the future together. Thank you very much.
We learned a lot from this presentation about Korean semiconductor industry. Next, we will hear from Mr. Kunal Choudhary, partner and leader of EY India. He is going to present on business incentive and regulatory frameworks. Please welcome Mr. Kunal Choudhary.
Hi everyone. We've all heard during the past 2 hours on how the semiconductor industry is poised for growth, and what India is offering, and in no time we will see a lot of Korean companies who will come to India. I don't want to spend too much time on what the sector is and how the sector is doing. We all know it's going to be growing. What I want to spend more time on is while I've been working very closely with whatever has happened on the Semicon and been a part of all the partnerships which have happened till now, I want to share some experiences around how when the companies will come in India, what sort of tax regulatory environment, what sort of considerations they will have to face while they do JVs in India, and and things around that, and happy to answer questions around that. If we want to set up India, business in India, companies who are coming from outside India right now, as well as who will come, there are two types of options which are there. One is if they incorporate a wholly owned subsidiary, which is essentially 100% owned by a foreign company. The second option which is there is a joint venture, which I'm going to take in detail, which is essentially a partnership which will happen between an Indian player and a Korean company or a foreign company. And that's how most of the partnerships have happened till now in semiconductor. We heard that there are 6 projects which have already been approved, and I believe there are around 12 which are already in pipeline. So we've seen a lot of partnerships which have happened, and we'll see a lot of new partnerships being announced around the semiconductor as well as around the ecosystem as well. So it's not only the fabs which will have partnerships, but at least on the ecosystem side also we will see a lot of partnerships which are coming, which will happen in India. The second option is, if somebody comes and they don't want to set up a subsidiary or a legal entity in India, in that case, India also offers a liaison office or a branch office facility where you don't set up a subsidiary. It's only an extension of your foreign company to come in India, and these have these have more liberal regulations around setting up. What the government of India has done, and and it was mentioned earlier also. Yesterday there was a very big change which the government did on the special economic zone regulation, and which was mainly done to promote semiconductor manufacturing and electronic manufacturing in a special economic zone. And special economic zone brings in a lot of duty savings, duty benefits to companies. So the government also proactively is going ahead and changing policies, changing regulatory, easing out the RAND regulations for companies to set up. What the government also did, and it was specifically for high-tech manufacturing last year, was to offer a presumptive tax mechanism for manufacturing companies who want to come. Now this mechanism essentially allows a foreign company to come in India and without setting up, sending people to India, and the taxation regime has been brought to a very, very low rate. So they don't have to get into hassles of doing the tax compliances, etc. in India, and that's a very, very welcome step which the government specifically did only for the semiconductor and high-tech manufacturing companies in India. And this benefit is now being, and at least we've been in talks with a lot of companies who want to take this benefit, and it's being very positively seen by these companies. Next, though a lot has been spoken about incentives. The only point I want to drive around incentives is that if we calculate the total incentives which the government of India has given, on the fab or on the packaging side, we have incentives which can range from 75 to 80% of the total capex cost which the government is giving back pari passu. This includes both state governments as well as the central government. And this is a very substantial piece of incentive which the government is giving. So somebody who's wanting to set up a fab or a manufacturing facility in India only needs to do 20% capex of the entire requirement. The next is on the R&D centers. We have seen a lot of foreign companies, and we said that they are 20% of the design capability now in India. Even for the design R&D centers, a lot of state governments have issued specific policies incentivizing setting up of design centers in their states. And they're offering very, very innovative benefits. And some states even offer reimbursement of lease rentals, for example, as one of the benefits of setting up in these states. The central government also is thinking about it, and there may be something which may happen on the R&D side from the central government as well. The third is on the ecosystem, and we expect, and Amitesh ji said that we expect that even for the ecosystem players, there is going to be an incentive which is going to come anytime during this year, which will also incentivize ecosystem players to set up, come to India and set up. And that incentive is also going to be a large chunk of the capital cost which you will get back. I would, I think being a part of most of the JVs which have happened till now in India on the semiconductor side, on the semiconductor, on the JV side, I've just mentioned very few key points which companies will have to take care of or need to think about when they're planning to do a partnership in India. One is where will they invest in India? There are preferential treaty norms for coming from specific countries. So for example, if a Korean company, India-Korea shares a very good tax treaty. So if Korean companies are coming from, from India, or they want to come from Singapore or any, so getting into India from which country is a very, very important consideration when they're planning to do an investment into India. Then we come on few of the parameters which they need to take care while they're doing a JV in India. One is on the control piece. We've seen a lot of discussion which has happened on the control piece, which essentially says how each of the parties are going to control the process, who's going to control the technology, who's going to control the operations. Also, it is very important to have contribution earmarked clearly in the agreements, because it's a very, very important one from a legal point as well as from a tax point, to have contribution clearly earmarked and written in the agreements, which will ease out the process. Next is on the operation side. While we are entering into a joint venture, the effective tax rate of both the parties needs to be clearly demonstrated. The incentive evaluation needs to be clearly demonstrated. The mechanism of how the profits will be shared between the partners also needs to be clearly demonstrated in the agreements. And most of these are the points which are discussed. And lastly, how do you monetize once you have a running thing? Whether you want to go for an IPO, whether you want to raise funds in India, how do you want to monetize? That's also a very important consideration which is being thought through, or which needs to be thought through in the agreements which are being entered between the JV partners here in India. I will not take too much time because we are running a little late, but I'll be happy to answer any questions around joint ventures, what's happened, what are the practical problems being faced, what are the good measures government has taken. Happy to answer any of the questions. Thank you.
Next speaker, Mr. Lucas Kim, General Manager Secretary across India at Seoul Semiconductor of South Korea. He will share the experience in India's semiconductor sector from Korean company side. Please welcome Mr. Lucas Kim.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lucas Kim, Secretary across India in Seoul Semiconductor. I'm very happy to share with you today what we have achieved with our hard work. I'd like to take this opportunity to explain about LED semiconductor through our company introduction. We will talk for 10 minutes in 3 parts. We get 80% our knowledge from light, but children are getting myopia and memory problem from bad light. However, most people don't care about the quality of light or spectrum. Light controls our hormones. Hormone controls our body, memory, and focus. Ironically, people spend money on coffee every day, but for light affects family health for 10 years, they only want cheap product. We will briefly talk about our vision, our plan to reach it, and how we help our people and the world. Then we will show our unique and special technologies. What is light? In 2017, scientists got a Nobel Prize for showing that light controls our body's 24-hour rhythm. Light is amazing. Light affects all living things on Earth. Now we must change from cheap light to healthy, natural light. Our vision is make the world clean, healthy, and beautiful with light. and write a new history of light. Let me explain more. There are three directions to achieve our vision: keeping principle, value creation, concentrating light. First, keeping principle. Honor, trust, dedication are our heart and philosophy. With 30 years of hard work, Seoul Semiconductor became #1 in LED backlight, and Seoul Biosys became #1 in UV. We challenge ourselves every day to find a better way. We will keep focusing on light semiconductors for the next 30 years. With 6 global R&D centers and factories in 4 countries, we offer full solutions from UV to IR and chips to module. 8 years ago, we built a factory in Vietnam. Since then, most of production from China and Korea has moved there. Now the Vietnam factory makes more than 80% of our total global production. The Vietnam factory has an area of about 80,000 square meters, employs 3,000 people, and operates 40 SMT lines. We are also looking into building a factory in India. Now we will show you a special technology we prepared for 30 years. We believe this will change the future in 6 business areas. Regarding the contribution, we have provided tuition support to 300 employees who could not go to university. We also helped the families of 7 team members who passed away by paying for living and education. First is not fair, but opportunity must be fair. We shared this message in Wall Street Journal and Financial Times and Nikkei. We hope our effort helps young people and companies grow step by step. This is what we consider most important: customer value creation. Our light has the same spectrum as sunlight. It helps myopia in children and improves memory. Our special LED has no wire or package. It's a big change in LED industry. In 20 years, we won more than 100 legal cases in 8 countries. We protect our patents to help our customer and build a fair world. Now, we will introduce light solution for 6 application areas where big changes are happening. We have 6 business divisions and total market size is $87 billion. Seoul Semiconductor focuses on automotive, lighting, and IT display. Seoul Biosys focuses on micro LED, home appliance, and industrial sensor and datacom. First, let me explain the 3 areas of Seoul Semiconductor. The automotive division has $4 billion market size with package and grows 30% every year. We supply to all of the world's top 10 car brands. Now cars are more than transport. They are clean, safe, and connected space. We provide smart lighting and display for communication and safety. The market size is $10 billion. By 2029, the lighting market with package will reach $4 billion US. People now want better eye and better memory from sunlight spectrum. Sunlight helps show real colors, protect eyes, and improves memories. Top universities like Harvard, Oxford, Seoul National have tested sunlight. The IT display division has a $3 billion market with package. Blue light hurts sleep. Our tech cuts blue light by 50% and helps eyes and sleep. We are number one in backlight LED. The module market is $4 billion US. We made the world's first no-wire RGB one-chip Y-CAP. This tech is needed to make micro-LED displays. The market size in 2040 is $50 billion US. During COVID, wearing masks reduced colds by 99% in Asia and 90% in the USA. Why? Our body can fight a few viruses, but not too many. Now, we move from medicine to prevention using bio-LED. This market will grow to $2 billion by 2029. The first industrial revolution needs 3D sensors and faster communications. Now is the time for pixel sensors and high-speed data. This market will be $1 billion US by 2029. We have now finished explaining all 6 business areas. Until now, we have followed our principle, honor, trust, and dedication to human society. Customer value is always our top goal. For 30 years, we focused on light semiconductors and got 18,000 patents. These patents help change industries and give our customers special products. To end, let us say again, birth is not fair, but opportunity must be fair. Respecting intellectual property is key to a fair world. We will do our best to write a new history of light. Thank you very much for listening.
Please welcome Mr. Jin Soon Lee.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jin Soon Lee from DJK India as a strategic planning division manager. I would like to briefly explain about the India semiconductor field insight from the Japanese perspective with some of the practical challenges that we faced in the working time. So you've likely heard about the many positive things so far, but my aim is to explain that some challenges that we faced during the underground field with the semiconductor Indian players. After a quick introduction of our group, I will cover the Japanese perspective for the India semiconductor field, and then the reality, and then the possibility and then challenges for Korean players. And the last, the role of the DJK India in India semiconductor market. Our group name is Daiichi Jitsugo, headquartered in Tokyo, Japan. Last year, our revenue reached approximately 2 trillion Japanese yen. In Korean won, ijo. In Indian rupees, 1,314 crore. Our business is an industrial machinery trader and manufacturing solution provider. Our core mission is to be a dedicated partner for our client solution with bringing the innovation and then solution to improve their manufacturing and production environment. We operate across a wide variety of the vital business division: the plant energy solution, industrial machinery, electronics, automotive, healthcare, and aviation social infrastructure. Our group has 40 locations in 17 countries. India location names Daiichi Jitsugo India. We call the DJK India. Our headquarters in the Gurgaon, and our technical center in Noida, and we are planning to open the new technical center in Chennai within this year. And then we have 4 branches in India, in the Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, and Pune. Our technical center is for the operation training, and then evaluation, and simulation, and then education business for the manufacturing players. And also we have the one engineering companies to fabricate the overhead conveyor for the Japanese automotive company. Today, I want to frankly talk about the India semiconductor market from a Japanese perspective, focusing on the challenging that needs to address for its growth. First, overall semiconductor field. There is a significant lack of the manpower, such as engineer and then factory operator. The wide global trend lean toward factory automation, reducing the needs for the mass and large manpower like the workforces. It also means when a few trained engineers grow, they have a high chance and then easy to shift their company and then over the countries such as the USA, Southeast Asia, China, and so on. That's why before coming to India, all players need to think about and then plan for the clarification for which section will be the manual section, which section will be the automation section, to use the India affordable the labor cost. And also they need to think about the plan for how to transfer their technology from the expert to beginner. Second, front-end process. It's really tough to achieve the quick ROI in semiconductor field in India. Even with the central and state government financial support, there are a lot of the uncertainty until the direct fund goes actually into their cash book. And also, most of the all Indian players has they don't have the independent technology by themselves. It means that they need to rely on the 100% technical partners. And then when it comes to infrastructure, the ultra pure water and the stable power supply. And also, all location has a different geographical differences. West, East, Assam, and then Noida side is north side, and then Tamil Nadu side in south. And also, it has some the notorious for the logistics environment and the custom clearance. And then with our on-the-ground experience, there is a one core risk point. That is, in India, there is no any construction company to build in the semiconductor level factory. It has a more precise, more elaborate, and the more the it's a quite the more the precise level. Third, the third back-end process. Normally, mother company will, like a technical partner, normally secure the most orders. But the India semiconductor field aim is not that one. They want to extend the global market. Then who will be their competitor? In the initial time, the India semiconductor field will not manufacture the high value of the chips like HBM. They were focusing on the low value of the chips, like legacy chips. Then who will be the competitor? Their competitor will be the Southeast Asia and China. But these countries, these continents already have the trustful reputation and then quality with the price competitive. Then how can deal with that? Unfortunately, in India, overall, there is no supply chain for the raw material. If all Indian players will purchase and import raw material from overseas, how can they deal with the price competitive to obtain some order from the global companies? For example, even in India, there is no any manufacturer company for wafer. The wafer is one of the most important ingredient of semiconductor. DJK India already have several projects with Micron India. We were supposed to start some project last year, but we didn't start yet. From last year to the last month, still construction looks same. Because what I talked about before, the construction company level. And then in India, in winter season, there are a lot of the restriction for the vehicle to move. It means the construction material also was not moving at all. From the Delhi side, from the Asia side to go to the Gujarat, because there are a lot of the restriction for vehicle, for trucks to move. And then in March, in Gujarat Semicon Connect exhibition, and last month in Singapore, the Semicon Southeast Asia, we met many major Indian companies. What they are concerned is how to stabilize, how to deal with their operating in factory. Because most of the technical partners want to benchmark their layout from the other location. It means from Malaysia, from Singapore, from China, from somewhere else. But there are many Chinese makers. But in India, it's really tough to import a Chinese maker. That's why they were thinking about how to manage it, about the engineer and operator, spare part, and global connection, global support from the other side. That's why so many companies are approached to us to think about the solution. Then, what should the Korean companies do in India market? First of all, for makers, they need to try to sell their equipment to Indian players. If it comes to Indian market, all new players will think about, will consider a same model because it's already in India. And semiconductor players, they need to look for some potential and prominent players because most of the players in India, they're kind of a major company to have a good connection, good channel in domestically. So after the middle term and the long term, the perspective, the maker side has to make the most effort to educate and then make manpower in India, because it's kind of easy for them to shift to new company, but it's one of the free, automatically the sales marketing, because even they are shift to new company, when they are looking for the new investment, they need to think about the same equipment they used to use. And then semiconductor players. India is one of the, I think that India is the strongest and then the most stable country during the trade war these days to negotiate with the USA, China, and Europe. That's why India is one of the safest countries to improve, to extend their business in the world. Like 20s China and 2010 to 2020 in Vietnam. So normally DJK India has a lot of the PCBA division customers. Most of the semicon players already have the PCBA division. That's just we already have a good relationship with them. So when they start semicon business, they approach to us to make some support to them, because even a few makers already started the sales activity in India, but they only cover the one maker by one maker or one machine by one machine. They don't understand the semicon ecosystem and then environment overall. But for us, we are trying to cover the full line as a turnkey system. That's just we need to understand the overall the ecosystem and then environment of the manufacturing. And then normally some small company, they're making the engineer from the fresher, but our engineer will be from the PCBA expert. That's just we have the benefit and the strongest. So according to the 15 steps of the backend process, at least most of the companies from backend so far right now in India. So already around the 10 companies from several countries already approached to DJK India to do sales activity and then dominate and then service support to India market. So in India, yes, there is a lot of the pros and cons, but with the DJK India, all players will take the most benefit and the minimum risk to dominate the India semicon market. Thank you for listening and then the attention.
So first, thank you so much for your very wonderful presentations. It's very good for understanding me. You explained very well the kind of the subsidy incentive from the central government and the state government. It's very useful, and I think this LED is also the Seoul Semiconductors. The components is inside, I think. So, and also the vision and the logo is very impressive. And thank you again, Mr. Jin Soon. You belong to the Japanese company, but he is Korean. So, and he explained us a kind of some real stories in India, especially in the semiconductor industry sector. Thank you again. So to save time, now I will open the floor first. So anybody have comments and questions to all the speakers. So anybody raise your hands first. Oh, good. So anybody's? Okay. I think, yeah, please.
Thank you so much for this very timely event and insightful presentations. I'm Dr. Anshu Joshi. I'm from Jawaharlal Nehru University. See, we all are discussing that how can we make the supply chains resilient and more dynamic from semicons industry's point of view, and India specifically looks forward to the key drivers related to making a dynamic supply chain globally. But we are living in turbulent times wherein we can already see two open theaters of war, and we all know what is happening in Indo-Pacific at present, especially from China's and Taiwan's point of view. What is happening to Taiwan and the aggression from China with every passing day. So I want to know the key drivers in such turbulent points with which we can make the supply chains resilient from both Indian perspective as well as Korea's perspective. Thank you.
So, I think you, Mr. Choudhary, you can respond, please.
I may not be the right person to answer, but you're right. Due to this trade war, due to what's happening on the China-Taiwan front as well, it is very important now for companies to start looking at alternative grounds or to make themselves. And I think it all started when COVID came in and everybody felt. So that was the time when everybody felt that we need to now rethink how the supply chains, and specifically for semiconductor, because they were very concentrated, they were controlled by very, very few. It is, and so how we can make sure that they are, they are resilient and they don't get disrupted very soon. And between India and Korea, though, Korea leads in a lot of. We've not had too much traction right now till now on the semiconductor side. And even for Korean companies to be more resilient, the supply chains have to have an alternate space. So I will probably refer it to Mr. Kim for more of the business impact in terms of how he sees how that can be done.
Yeah, please.
I think that when it comes to supply chain, in India there are a lot of the resources, but so far, India government didn't or don't investment clearly. I think they need to open to take the technology from the already advanced country from the Taiwan, like Taiwan, Japan, Korea, also such as China also, but it takes a considerable amount of time to set up the market, but it's essential, it's a vital market to be a semiconductor market leader. Without the raw material and the supply chain market, India will not be the leading country in the world.
So, okay. I think this session we are focused on the kind of the business-oriented themes like the incentive and tax and kind of some bilateral industrial cooperation, how to build like this. So your question is very wonderful and important, but it's related to a kind of some strategies and economic security. So please. And is there any other questions and comments? Okay. Okay, please. Sorry, you already have some questions in the first session. Please. Mr. Pan, yeah, USA.
I want to take this thought a little further, which came up from the lady on my right. I think supply chain resilience comes through a lot of trust which has to be created. Trust comes from a lot of interdependencies which can be created. So if I may take that thought a little further, when we do business, we will probably have to look at how we structure our businesses in such a way that we become dependent on each other, and then we know that the dependency is not only one-sided. If it is one-sided, then the structuring will not withstand the global trade pressures, to my mind. So can we think of some ways in which the joint ventures or the business structuring is done that we are able to create dependencies on both sides? And maybe Kunal could add to this now, and maybe as you said, Daiichi DJK is already here in India. Can that be taken further in this manner? Can we make it more interdependent?
Yeah, so okay, I'll take this. I agree with you, sir. I think once we have more business relationship, more interdependency, the trust will increase, and obviously it will take some time. But between India and Korea, for example, we have we've been having a free trade agreement for the past I think 8, 9, 10 years now, where there is free flow of trade. India right now offers a great consumer market for most of the Korean companies. Most of the white goods market is controlled by Korean companies. So that way, there is a lot for the Korean India to offer to the Korean companies. And that is a very, very strong point which at least India can take to the Korean companies to say that your demand is here, right? We need your help to help us to manufacture. So you are selling most of it to us, but that is another area where we want you to support a little more. And I don't know if you want to add more, but yes, I think India's greatest strength right now is the consumers and the manpower India offers.
Okay. Now we are focused on the kind of some incentive issues first, Mr. Choudhary. So you explain us the subsidies by the central government and state government. So is there any tax incentive from the central or the state government in the semiconductor sectors?
So there is no direct tax incentive which is offered to because India moved out from a regime of offering tax incentives to a more, because that's why India reduced. We have the lowest corporate income tax rate in the world. But there are a lot of facilitation measures which the government have introduced. In addition to what we are saying is the capital subsidy which they give to companies to offer. But there are a lot of ways, for example, the special economic zone which we talked about being relaxed for semiconductor manufacturing gives a very big advantage to most of the companies to defer any duties, taxes which are payable. So they, you get a very, very big cash flow. You don't pay them, which gives you a 20% cash flow advantage. Over. So that sort of operational relaxations, policy relaxations are there. There is no customs duty, for example, on any of the semiconductors which are manufactured in net zero. So, but there is no direct tax incentive as such. And I think because the government has moved out of giving any exemptions to any particular sector.
As far as my understanding, the central government they support a kind of subsidy, especially in the facility cost.
Yes.
And the state government, like the Gujarat, they have so many the incentive, yes. Land, waters, electricity, powers, and manpower also. So in terms of the total, the incentive and the kind of incentive by states, a part of the Gujarat, which state are you recommend? in the first session also, I also same questions.
So right now we are at least, there is a lot of interest which is being shown. Obviously all states are being very aggressive because everybody wants a pie in this semiconductor revolution which India is trying to bring. Gujarat has already got the maximum right now, but Uttar Pradesh is one, they've already got one now. Then Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are also very, very aggressive. And so is the northeastern states like Assam and Odisha. So we are, at least between these 6-7 states, we are seeing a lot of competition by the states to get, at least 1 or 2 projects to their state. So between these 6-7 states, we are seeing, and most of the policies of what Gujarat is offering will align or to most of the states. So they will be, if not better, equivalent to what they're offering. So at least in terms of facility, in terms of land, in terms of power, so they are offering these incentives.
Okay, thank you. And also I would like to give you the Lucas Kim, the Seoul Semiconductors. As you know very well, Seoul is capital of the Korea, but his presentations, Seoul Semiconductor, ladies, most of the 80% of their productions in Vietnam is very surprised for me. So anyway, the Seoul Semiconductor is the world top company in the opto semiconductors. Given the growing demand in India, driven by sectors like automotive, EV, energy efficient lighting, and smart cities, what do you see as the most promising area of the opportunity in Indian market? And what are the core pillars of your market entry and the growth strategy for India?
Actually, Seoul Semiconductor sees automotive lighting and UV application as key opportunities. And our core strategies is localizing production in India and partnering with that key OEMs to ensure that faster design in and market penetration. Yes, thank you.
Okay, and also before ending of the session, so Jin Soon Lee, you belong to DZK, is one of the manufacturing equipment and the production solutions across the semiconductor and electronics. So which stage of the semiconductor manufacturing process do you consider the most promising in Indian market? And when do you expect demand to begin materializing in a significant ways? You already explained so many difficulties in India and realities. Yeah.
Normally, as everyone knows, India can do back-end process. Only Tata can do the front-end process, but front process has a more supply chain market. That's why it takes much longer than the back-end process. That's why I think that India initially the focus on the back-end process first, and then their mass production will be maybe starting the, not sure, because it depending on the construction, and then how to deal with the infrastructure like a manpower. But our forecast can be starting from the next year. Yeah, so, and then the front process maybe after 2027, 2028, it takes a longer, it can be, but it depending on how much India government will focus on and how much open for for the developing the speed.
I think your company is already meet the Tata Electronics and the Micron side. If it's a kind of business secret, do not say, but I think.
Yes, we already have some project with Micron and then Tata, and then we also sold some equipment to them. But in Bangalore side, their R&D center there, we already sold some product, and also we already plan to installed in Gujarat side and then Assam side, but everything is still delayed.
But anyway, I think I don't know exactly, but Tata or the Micron, they will start to meet and negotiation your company. That means a kind of the progress. Yeah. Okay. So we have just only 5 minutes. Anybody's this is the last course. The questions or comments? Okay, please. Yeah.
Mr. Lee, welcome to India.
I have been living in India 5 years.
45 years ago.
You have the microphone.
45 years ago, when I was undergoing my MBA, I wrote the same project report which you presented it today. That means within the past 45 years, things has not changed in India. Thank you very much. It's very nice, and India remains the same, which was there in 45 years ago today, right? I would like to meet you after the meeting is over. My question is to Mr. Kim. You are into the UV industry, right?
Pardon?
You are into the UV industry, ultraviolet.
Yes.
Yeah, ultraviolet industry, what is your experiences with regard to the ultraviolet industry for the disinfection area worldwide, especially into the operation rooms in the doctor operations rooms in the hospitals? Do you have any work done on that area?
Actually, among of many items in Seoul Semiconductor, there is a UVC, UVB, UVA application. Maybe UVA and B, UVC also, we can apply in that hospital or the water
water purification.
Yes, that area also.
But have you done any? Does your company has any experience in that area? These two areas?
Yes. Now, among the many customers, as you know, the Eureka Povus and the Kent Havers, they now using some our application. Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll talk later after the exhibition is over.
Thank you.
Yeah, almostly we have just only 2 minutes. So is there any last comments, Mr. Choudhary, related to the semiconductor or electronics? Or there are so many the Korean and even Japanese businessmen is here, Indian also, please.
Yeah, I think at least, I understand there has been delays, but in the last 6 months, we've made a lot of progress on the ground of things moving on, be it Tata, be it Micron, and other projects as well. And they are now moving faster than what it is expected, So though there was delay, but at least with the number of queries, number of people coming to India, we've now seeing a spurt or a faster expedited way of execution of these projects in India. So what I feel is that the initial bottlenecks have now all been sorted, and the projects, etc., are now moving faster than what they were planned.
Okay. Is there any comments or something? No? Oh, yeah.
So I really hope India will be growing up with semicon with Korea, Japan, Taiwan, somewhere else also. But everyone wants just focusing on the more incentive. But I think the India government will think about why the other country company hesitate to come to India. there is not only money. Most of the time, they are thinking about the infrastructure. Even taxation or more incentive is just only temporarily one. With the infrastructure, stable infrastructure, at that time it has some synergy effect. But without the infrastructure, only looking at the money, they will not come to India. So India government will think about how to improve the infrastructure, like a more water and then stable power and so on. So at that moment, also Korea companies will have a chance to come to India. It's not only semicon, it's overall the industry. So at the moment, India and Korea will have the better and the stronger bonding. So that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. I think she has very good comments for us. So, okay, keep the promise. Now I try to finish these sessions and today's all of the forum. Thank you all of the guests and the participants and especially the speakers and especially thank you for the EY India. Thank you so much. Thank you.